Chapter 1706. Commander Lin, don't be agitated. Elder Bai, you can't do it this way. Night Sorrow, right? I'm not a human, so I don't have any prejudice. Follow us to Tianhuang City. As for how to deal with this, the elders will decide. Elder Lingshu stood up and said. Then we'll do as Elder Lingshu says. But we have to go with our original body and doppelganger. Don't miss out. Go and inform them. Bai Chuyuan said. Haha. Night Sorrow laughed. You're a human race's elder. I can't imagine. Then we'll do that. Night Sorrow, don't worry. The elders will give you a fair ruling. Elder Bai, don't say anything. I won't work with you in the future. Gu Qi's face was ugly because he felt embarrassed. Night Sorrow, if this matter can't be dealt with properly, I'll leave Tianhuang City. Lin Piaomiao stood up and looked at Bai Chuyuan. Commander Lin, don't be like this. There's really no need. Elder Lingshu said. I'll convey Commander Lin's intentions to the elders. Gu Qi nodded to Lin Piaomiao. Night Sorrow, come back with your original body. Let them deal with this matter and see what they can do. If it's not suitable, I'll take revenge for you. Lin Piaomiao said. Since the Battle Emperor has spoken, I'll come back. Actually, I'm not afraid of them killing my original body and doppelganger. If they mess with me, I'll pay them back 100 times. Battle Emperor, please arrange a place for me in the City Lord Manor. My original body is still stabilizing my cultivation. I'll come over in the next 2 days. Night Sorrow said to Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao nodded to the guards at the entrance of the hall. Arrange a VIP room for Night Lord. Night Sorrow left the hall of the City Lord Manor and was led to the VIP room by the guards. Please bring my wife over from Night Moon Manor. Night Sorrow said to the guards. Please wait for a moment, Night Lord. I'll make the arrangements right away. The City Lord's guards nodded and went to make the arrangements. They knew about Night Sorrow and respected Night Sorrow very much. Inside City Lord Manor, Bai Chuyuan sneered. Aren't you afraid of killing your true body and avatar? What arrogance. Whether or not it's big, it's not up to Elder Bai to decide. There are some things that I don't need to explain to you. Elder Bai, you're not new to the Jianghu. Don't bully the young and poor. There are some people that you can't afford to offend. I'll talk to the person who can make the decision. Lin Piaomiao stood up and disappeared from the City Lord Manor. Gu Qi and Elder Lingshu shook their heads and went to the VIP building to rest. They knew that they had offended Lin Piaomiao because Bai Chuyuan's words were too arrogant. The VIP building arranged a loft for each of them. However, Elder Lingshu went to look for Gu Qi. Elder Gu Yishang's eyes were sharp, but there wasn't a trace of evil in them. When he communicated with us, his eyes didn't waver at all. It's clear that there's nothing shameful in his heart. What he said should be true. We can't make Commander Lin unhappy because of this. Elder Bai and I don't have much to say, so Elder Gu should deal with this matter. Stability is the most important thing. Didn't we come out for stability? If we make the ethereal dynasty unhappy and the human tribe is in turmoil, then the gains won't make up for the losses, said Elder Lingshu. I've thought about this before. Commander Lin said that she'll talk to the person who can make the decision. We just have to bring them back. Gu Qi nodded. We're elders only because we've lived for a long time. In terms of battle achievements and ability, Commander Lin isn't any worse than us. If we don't get along well, it'll be a loss for the greater good. Elder Lingshu said. Elder Lingshu is right. I understand. This matter is troublesome. Other than Night Sorrow, we only have bad blood with the Black Dragons. If we directly kill a young dragon, this matter will also make the Black Dragons angry. Unfortunately, there are too many different opinions. Elder Bai is an example. Gu Qi said. Datura and Lin Xianair went to the VIP building where Night Sorrow was. Night Sorrow, you don't have to worry too much. You're a virtuous merit half-emperor. Whoever dares to touch you is blind. Lin Xianair said. I've been sealing my aura and hiding the virtuous merit in my body because I don't want to be discovered by them. Now that I've revealed some things, I'll be schemed against by some random people. I might even be eliminated by some people before I even see the person in charge. Night Sorrow waved his hand and set up an energy barrier. You're right. I'll discuss it with Lord Battle Emperor later. Lin Xianair said. After my original body comes, I'll take some defensive measures. If they want to kill me, I'll send them a clone. It's impossible for them to destroy my original body and soul. If they don't follow the rules and act recklessly, it's fine because I don't have the strength. If I have the strength, I'll fight them to the death. What human alliance? If they act recklessly, they'll only harm the human race. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, let's go back to the primal chaos realm. That's the safest place. Anyway, we've already broken the shackles that prevented us from becoming emperors. That's enough. Datura said worriedly. In the past, it was my dream to break the shackles of the 9-domain world that prevented us from becoming emperors. But in fact, I only broke the shackles of the 9-domain world. The world of reincarnation and the other worlds in the primal chaos realm can't do it. Therefore, the existence of Starmoon City is very necessary. If we escape, it'll be irresponsible and it'll make things difficult for Lord Battle Emperor. I also want to see the Tianhuang City and see what kind of style the clan elder who represents the human race has. Besides, I can't leave now. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Lin Shen stayed for a while and then left. Aluo, don't worry. I've communicated with the 9-domain origin pearl. If they really want to kill me, the 9-domain origin pearl can help me. Although it can't directly return to the 9-domain world, it can help me escape for a while. It'll just consume some of the world's origin energy. It can't be used as a normal escape method. Night Sorrow said. Okay, then I'm relieved. Datura nodded. Don't worry. The 9-domain origin pearl isn't something that the evil Punisher Land's origin energy can compare to. It's a supreme origin energy and has its own intelligence. Its ability is much stronger than the evil Punisher Land's origin energy. Night Sorrow explained the situation to Datura again before releasing the barrier. Datura nodded to Night Sorrow. If I'm not here, you're the strongest in the primal chaos realm. You can make some decisions. Your original body will return to the 9-domain world. Night Sorrow said to Datura. Song Ning, Wufeng, Luo Yuan Dao, and Lin Qixing all found Lin Piaomia to ask about this matter. Jiang Qianheng also came. Although they weren't close, he didn't want to see anything happen to Night Sorrow. 5 of the 7 palace lords came. Night Sorrow is very successful as a person. You don't have to worry about this matter. Others don't know about the Heavenly Desolate City and the 100 Race Alliance, but you do. This isn't something that I can make decisions about. However, I won't let them do as they please. I'll make arrangements for how to deal with it. Lin Piaomia said. Why forever free of X fees? Look at W5, say M. Chapter 1707. Night Sorrow said to Datura, Luo, after I leave, I'll leave Night Moon Villa and Star Moon Lake to you. Since you can't become an emperor after returning to the primal chaos realm, you can stay in Star Moon City with your main body and leave your clone in Night Moon Villa to handle some matters. If you have any problems, you can ask Sister Xian'er and Song Ning for help. Night Sorrow, don't worry. Night Moon Villa's matters are my business, Song Ning said to Song Ning. Song Ning said from within the Yue Villa. She and Wufeng were waiting for the return of Yi Shang's original body. Wufeng looked at Night Sorrow and said, Brother will help you look after Night Sorrow. Alright, I'm relieved. Night Sorrow nodded at them and went to the City Lord's Mansion's VIP tower. His main body and his clone sorted out the resources. Night Sorrow left some necessary resources behind and handed a few storage rings to Datura's clone. Bring them back to the 9-domain world. These are the resources for the 9-domain world's rise. Datura nodded. He knew that Night Sorrow had left them behind. Night Sorrow's trip to Tianhuang City was dangerous. No one knew how the upper echelons of Tianhuang City would deal with it. Night Sorrow also heard some news in the past 2 days. The 2 most famous cities of the human race in the celestial realm were Tianhuang City and Shindu City. Tianhuang City was a city of war, while Shindu City was the most prosperous city in the celestial realm. However, the people in charge of these 2 cities were the human race's elders. Only the forces recognized by the human race's elders could develop. The leaders of these forces were cultivators who had made contributions to the human race. They were the human race's lords. Go back. I'll leave the children's education to you. If the children ask, just tell them I'm going out for training. Night Sorrow instructed Datura. Datura had left. Although she was worried, she knew that the human race's elders would treat Night Sorrow with caution. After all, Night Sorrow was the virtuous half-martial emperor. Even the Deluxe Merit Grand Sage and the Deluxe Merit Lord were powerful. This was the recognition of the Heavenly Tao. Whoever decided to deal with Night Sorrow would hurt their own fate, or even the fate of the human race. In the past, it was very difficult for Night Sorrow to control his aura so that it did not leak out. He could not hide from the detection of experts. However, Night Sorrow's body had reached the Arch realm, and his leakless true body was even more powerful. He could seal his aura so that it did not leak out at all. His light of merit did not leak out and no one could detect him. Because they still had to capture the dragon language, even though Night Sorrow's main body and avatar had arrived, Guqi and the other two did not leave Ethereal Imperial City. Guqi came to see Night Sorrow. The two drank a jar of wine. Neither of them mentioned this matter and they just drank and chatted. Guqi asked about Night Sorrow's past. After hearing about Night Sorrow's experiences, Guqi's eyes were filled with admiration. As for the divination and the pursuit of the dragon language, Bai Chuyuan was in charge. However, he had used a secret technique twice but to no avail. This made him fly into a rage. One night Sorrow and Guqi were drinking tea when Bai Chuyuan came. His face was ashen. You dare say that the dragon language has nothing to do with dragons? Then how did she avoid the divination? There are two diviners in the Ethereal City Lord Manor. My secret technique failed when the divination failed. How do you explain this? Vijana Edition K. First release, do I need to explain? Night Sorrow looked at Bai Chuyuan and said. He knew that it was useless to speak nicely to Bai Chuyuan. Even if he had a good attitude, it was useless. Bai Chuyuan couldn't wait to kill him. Why don't you need to explain? Bai Chuyuan roared angrily. I don't know about her. If you want me to explain, I can only say that the diviner's abilities are lacking. My lord's secret technique is lacking as well, Night Sorrow said. Shall I kill you now? Bai Chuyuan drew his sword. Stop. Guqi stood up. It seems like Elder Bai wants to kill the overlord of the Ethereal Imperial Dynasty in our territory. You can try. Lin Piaomiao won't stop you. However, you have to return to White Emperor City immediately to collect your corpse. I guarantee that White Emperor City will be flooded with blood. Lin Piaomiao appeared. At this moment, her body was filled with a murderous aura. White Emperor City was a territory under Bai Chuyuan's control. It was currently under the control of his descendants. Commander Lin, what do you mean? Are you trying to scare me? Bai Chuyuan narrowed his eyes and looked at Lin Piaomiao. Have I, Lin Piaomiao, ever tried to scare anyone? You can try and see if I'm trying to scare you. Lin Piaomiao's starry eyes curved slightly behind her veil. It was a smile of contempt. All right, Elder Bai. I'll handle Night Sorrow's matter. Guqi stood up as well. Bai Chuyuan, if you want to become the second Sky Emperor, I don't mind learning from the Great Demon King. Killing you is a personal grudge. It won't affect the interests of the human race. Lin Piaomiao took the teapot in front of Night Sorrow and poured herself a cup of tea. She didn't show any emotion, as though she was just having a casual conversation. Although her words were calm, it had a huge effect. Guqi and Elder Ling Shu, who had rushed over, were stunned. Bai Chuyuan's face flushed red, but he didn't reply. The Great Demon King was a title. He did things both righteously and evilly. Just like Lin Piaomiao, he was also a commander of Sky Desolation City. They were both lords of their own territories. The Great Demon King was even in charge of a region. Because he couldn't stand Sky Emperor, he took action, causing Sky Emperor to not dare to show his face. Now that Lin Piaomiao had said this, if Bai Chuyuan still wanted to kill in Piaomiao dynasty, the consequences would be dire. Losing face, Bai Chuyuan flung his sleeves and left. He didn't want to provoke Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao's reputation was too great. No one on the celestial demon rankings could compare to her in a head-on fight. If she really wanted to kill someone, it would be terrifying. Bai Chuyuan didn't want to become the second Sky Emperor. Do your job well. I, Lin Piaomiao, respect every single elder of the human race. If you don't want your face, then I, Lin Piaomiao, won't hold back either. Lin Piaomiao said softly, then turned and left. Guqi and Elder Ling Shu looked at each other and sighed. They knew the reason for this. It was because Piaomiao dynasty had slapped Sky Emperor Sect's face and took over 80 million miles of Sky Emperor Sect's territory. Bai Chuyuan and Sky Emperor Sect were friends. Sky Emperor Sect was recommended by Bai Chuyuan to be the commander of Sky Desolation City. Later on, Sky Emperor Sect was forced by the Great Demon King to not show his face. Hence, Bai Chuyuan was the one who took care of Sky Emperor Sect. Bai Chuyuan was dissatisfied that Lin Piaomiao had taken over 80 million miles of Sky Emperor Sect's territory. This was equivalent to not giving him any face. Hence, he came this time to kill Night Sorrow to save Lin Piaomiao's face. But reality was different from what Bai Chuyuan thought. Lin Piaomiao wasn't afraid of him at all. She didn't give him any face at all and even wanted to attack him. This made him helpless. Night Sorrow was very stable every day. There wouldn't be any results for now. Bai Chuyuan had his reservations about killing him. He didn't want to offend Lin Piaomiao. Chapter 1708. Night Sorrow stabilized his realm every day. However, he picked up a habit. Every morning he would wave his reincarnation spear and stretch his muscles and bones. He would display the basic spear techniques of a warrior. This was because he wasn't even considered a cultivator. Guqi would appreciate it with relish. Elder Ling Shu was also very quiet. He would sit for half a day with a pot of tea or a pot of aged wine. Bai Chuyuan wanted to capture the dragon language. He wouldn't leave without a result. Night Sorrow would be waiting. After stretching his muscles and bones, Night Sorrow began to cultivate his alchemy skills. He had a lot of materials now. It took him a few days to raise his alchemy skills to the emperor level. He used to be an emperor's preceptor, but he wasn't skilled enough because his cultivation level wasn't high enough. After raising his alchemy skills to the emperor level, Night Sorrow took out the materials and began to forge weapons and armor. He used 5 days to forge 2 weapons. Night Sorrow also raised his alchemy skills to the emperor level. Following that, Night Sorrow began to forge swords, battle sabers and armors in large quantities. He forged quite a few King and Heaven Monarch level swords and battle sabers. He forged a few Emperor level swords and battle sabers. Young man, you're clearly an Emperor's preceptor. Why are you still forging low-level weapons? I really don't understand you young people. Elder Ling Shu was a little confused. He couldn't suppress his curiosity and asked, Senior, I'm the only rank 9 cultivator in my hometown. Who should I refine Emperor-level weapons for? Therefore, rank 8 weapons are the most suitable. Rank 9 weapons are enough as backup. If they can reach rank 9, they will take care of the people who come after them. I won't be needed. Night Sorrow said. Your thinking is very reasonable. However, you don't have to worry too much. This matter isn't a dead end. At the very least, I don't believe that you're a traitor of the human race. Although others may have different opinions, they won't kill you. Guqi said. Thank you, Senior. I'm fine now. I'll do as much as I can for my hometown. Night Sorrow took out his 8-dragon cauldron and began to repair it. The 8-dragon cauldron had been pierced through by the evil Punisher's origin. It was a hole. Night Sorrow took out the materials and began to study it. He had first refined pills and weapons, then repaired the 8-dragon cauldron. This was because Night Sorrow wanted to refine the 8-dragon cauldron carefully and increase its grade and quality. This was because the 8-dragon cauldron was his protective magic treasure, and it was filled with emotions. Night Sorrow had used the most precious materials that he had accumulated. In addition, it was very difficult to repair because the 8-dragon cauldron had an artifact spirit. He had to be careful when replacing materials in a race. Guqi and Elder Ling Shu were drinking tea and watching from the side. After looking at it for a day, Elder Spirit Tree opened his mouth. Elder Gu, what's the situation? Isn't it harder to repair it than to refine it again? He was an alchemist, so he didn't know much about refining weapons. This repair is indeed more difficult than refining it from scratch, but it's not useless. This is because he has preserved the most precious part of the damaged cauldron. He has preserved the artifact spirit from being harmed. However, his technique is too crude. It's the lowest level of refining. It can't even be considered an inheritance. It's just some common techniques in the celestial realm. Using such a crude refining technique to refine an emperor weapon is unheard of in the celestial realm, Guqi said. He was an alchemist and understood Night Sorrow's intentions from Night Sorrow's refining. He also expressed his evaluation of Night Sorrow's refining technique. This situation? His refining technique is the same. His technique is very crude. Elder Ling Shu looked at Guqi. The two of them looked at each other and had some thoughts. Night Sorrow didn't come from the polar region and didn't have any inheritance. This wasn't a lie. They also saw Night Sorrow's potential. High-level techniques and techniques could increase the speed of refining and refining weapons. They could also increase the quality. Therefore, no one would not use high-level techniques and techniques. Night Sorrow's low-level techniques were skillful and smooth. This was a sign of long-term use. Guqi and Elder Ling Shu could naturally see this. They knew that Night Sorrow didn't have any high-level inheritance. If he was a rebel, then he would definitely have one. I don't want to be crude, but regarding inheritances, even if they are ordinary, the people of the celestial realm would treat them as treasures. I can't obtain any and have tried to exchange for it, but it's still not satisfactory. However, for refining and refining weapons, I think the most important thing is to use your heart. After Night Sorrow finished repairing the 8-dragon cauldron, he expressed his opinion. That's a good idea. I suddenly have a feeling that a scum with no talent and no heart is using top-level refining and refining techniques. Isn't this a form of mockery? Elder Ling Shu looked at Guqi and said, Of course it is. However, everyone's life is different. Some people are born high. Their high birth is because of their ancestors' hard work. People with perseverance will obtain it themselves. Night Sorrow, what do you think? Gucci said. I have the same opinion. Therefore I will work hard. This way my son and daughter won't lack anything in the future. Night Sorrow finished refining and washed his face. That's the truth. Gucci nodded and said. Bai Chuyuan wanted to catch the dragon language crazily. He couldn't mobilize the people of the Misty Dynasty, so he mobilized people from the Celestial Sect to investigate the footprints of the dragon language. The fortune-tellers were also constantly divining, but every time they divined, it was all dark. The best time was when they saw the figure of the dragon language, but the surroundings were hazy so they couldn't determine the location. The dragon language was very cautious. After leaving, he used his innate secret technique to avoid being divined. When the secret technique failed, he used an illusion array disc to control the surroundings and not be seen by others. In a manor in a city under the Celestial Sect, Ling Tian was looking at the information brought by Ling Ju. I didn't expect him to come to the Celestial Realm and develop so quickly. Ling Tian's expression was ugly because his future was ruined by Night Sorrow. After running to the Celestial Realm, Ling Tian went to the Celestial Sect to beg for forgiveness. He explained what happened. Because his cultivation was not bad, Ling Daoshu didn't kill him and arranged for him to be a manager in a subordinate city. The Thousand Return Emperor is a 2-star emperor, but he was still captured by him. His strength is terrifying. Ling Ju said. He hated Night Sorrow because Night Sorrow destroyed his cultivation path. Night Sorrow has a weakness. I will go find the sect master and tell him about Night Sorrow's weakness. As long as he can touch the primal chaos realm, then Night Sorrow will compromise. He will give in to any request. Ling Tian said. Then Ling Tian risked being punished and went to see Ling Daoshu. Although it was very annoying, Ling Daoshu still went to see Ling Tian. Ling Tian told him about Night Sorrow's situation. He's the one who ruined our plans? Damn it, but it's a good thing to know where his nest and foundation are. The passage he used to come back is one way. If he can come to the Celestial Realm, then there must be another passage. As long as we can find the passage, then things will be easy. Ling Daoshu saw some ways to deal with Night Sorrow. Then I will go and investigate this matter. Ling Tian took the initiative to ask for permission because he wanted to make a contribution. Up. Chapter 1709. Ling Daoshu felt that Night Sorrow was dead for sure because this involved the entire human race. Furthermore, he guessed that the passageway or teleportation circle might be in Xinghua City. The reason why he still needed to investigate was because he had to be cautious. The Chaos Realm was a region that had not been touched by any forces in the Celestial Realm. It was rich in resources, which was very important to the Celestial Sect. Previously, because they had limited manpower in the Chaos Realm, they could only resort to stealing the Chi of Origin. However, if there was a stable passageway or teleportation circle, they could rule for a long time. This was a great opportunity for the Celestial Sect. Night Sorrow was still in the VIP tower, so his freedom was restricted. A month had passed, and Bai Chuyuan's investigation of the dragon language was fruitless. Under such circumstances he could only give up. Giving up on searching for the dragon language, Gu Qi and the other two returned to Tianhuang City. Lin Piaomiao did not appear. It was Luo Yuandao's farewell banquet. Lin Piaomiao is too arrogant. What's wrong? She doesn't even care about the 100 Races Elder Conference? Bai Chuyuan was unhappy. Our battle emperor has other matters to attend to. She'll be here later. Luo Yuandao said. Alright, let's leave after drinking. Elder Ling Shu said. After the banquet, Gu Qi, Elder Ling Shu, and Bai Chuyuan left with Night Sorrow, heading towards the teleportation circle. When they were about to enter the teleportation circle, Lin Piaomiao appeared. Isn't it a little late to send you off now? Bai Chuyuan said. Elder Bai, you're overthinking. Night Sorrow, I'm here to send you off. Don't worry. Don't worry about Xinghua Lake. I'll be heading to Tianhuang City soon. Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and said. Thank you, Battle Emperor. You don't have to worry about Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow clasped his hands towards Lin Piaomiao. There's no need to thank me. I'm not just the ethereal Battle Emperor, I'm also your friend. You can go in peace. The ethereal Battle Emperor took off his veil. Night Sorrow was stunned when he saw the ethereal Battle Empress's exquisite face under the veil. Not only was this the face of a peerless beauty, but it was also because he recognized her. She was Sister Shinner, whom he had spent a long time with. Nodding her head at Night Sorrow, Lin Shinner turned around and left. She had come to give Night Sorrow some peace of mind. After entering the transfer array, Night Sorrow followed Gu Qi and the other two and started the transfer. Night Sorrow was very quiet. He could finally let go of the things that he couldn't let go of in his heart. The Misty Battle Empress was Lin Xin'er, so the Starmoon Lake was as stable as Mount Tai. After leaving the teleportation circle, Lin Piaomiao went to the city lord's mansion and called for Tsang Ning. Station a branch of the Tsang Ning army near Starmoon Lake. Kill anyone who dares to touch Starmoon Lake. Lin Piaomiao gave the order. At this moment Lin Xin'er left the Starmoon Mountain Villa. Her destination was also the teleportation circle. She couldn't leave Night Sorrow's matter alone. Gu Qi and the other two brought Night Sorrow through the teleportation circle. After a day, they arrived at a teleportation circle that Night Sorrow couldn't tell the cultivation level of the guard. An Emperor-grade teleportation circle. Night Sorrow could tell that it was an Emperor-grade teleportation circle. After another teleportation circle, the four of them entered Tianhuang City. After exiting the teleportation circle, Night Sorrow was stunned by the aura of Tianhuang City. This was because he had never seen such an environment and aura before. Throw him into jail first. We will report to the Council of Elders. Bai Chuyuan said. Is it appropriate to throw him into jail? Elder Ling Shu glanced at Night Sorrow and asked. If we don't throw him into jail, are we going to treat him like a VIP? If he runs around, what if he finds out about our Tianhuang City? Bai Chuyuan insisted. Seeing that Gu Qi was about to speak, Night Sorrow stretched his body. Thank you, elders. Jail it is. It's fine. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Gu Qi didn't say anything else. Since they were in Tianhuang City, they had to settle things. Even if Night Sorrow was thrown into jail, it wouldn't be a big deal. Bai Chuyuan led the way. They arrived at an ancient pagoda in the city and went underground. Greetings, elders. Just as they went underground, a man in black armor appeared. Lock this person up and guard him strictly. Don't let anything happen to him. Bai Chuyuan said. Don't use any tricks. He's a human. There are still some things that haven't been settled yet. For now we're just keeping him here. Iron Flow, do you understand? Gu Qi said. He was worried that Iron Flow would treat Night Sorrow as a prisoner and punish him. Iron Flow understands. Iron Flow nodded. Gu Qi and the other two left the ancient pagoda. It's late today. Tomorrow we'll gather everyone for a discussion and see what the disciplinary elders have to say. Elder Ling Shu said. Gu Qi nodded and left. Bai Chuyuan didn't say anything. Young man, what have you done at such a young age? Why did the three elders send you to jail together? The people locked up in jail are all serious criminals who have committed heinous crimes. Iron Flow said. Are they all guilty of heinous crimes? Seems like I'm quite lucky to receive such treatment. Night Sorrow smiled. Since Elder Gu has instructed, I won't make things difficult for you. I'll give you a comfortable room. Iron Flow sized up Night Sorrow and found it strange. After being sent to the ancient pagoda, none of them were calm. They either felt wronged or cursed angrily. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation $. Thank you. A comfortable cell isn't bad. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Iron Flow. Iron Flow sent Night Sorrow to a cell. The cell was very clean, but there were black locks hanging around it. After locking the door, Iron Flow left. Array cell. After Iron Stream fastened the lock in his hand, runes of an array appeared on the walls and the door of the cell. Energy flowed through them. After sensing it, Night Sorrow knew that he would be injured if he touched it. The array's energy was very strong. Thinking about Night Sorrow, he understood. This was an important place in the human alliance. The people locked up in this cell were all big shots of the enemy camp or the most vicious people of the human race. Those who could reach this level were all experts among experts. Since he was already here, Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine. After taking a sip, he sat down and cultivated. His body had just broken through recently, so he needed to familiarize himself with it and stabilize it. Lin Xin'er was the Misty Battle Empress. Night Sorrow didn't expect Lin Xin'er to be Misty Battle Empress, but it was also something that made him happy. Because everything was stable, he could face everything with ease. He believed that he had not done anything wrong to the human race and that he had a clear conscience, so he was not afraid of anything. He was a virtuous merit pseudo-emperor, so if he was labeled as a traitor, then he had nothing to say. Tianhuang City was quiet at night, so quiet that it was frightening. There were no lights, only lighthouses. Lin Xin'er walked out of the transmission array and walked towards the tallest ancient pagoda. She was worried about Night Sorrow. Chapter 17:10. Lin Piaomiao arrived in front of an ancient pagoda and entered after flashing her identity token. She then went to a room in the ancient pagoda. Piao Miao requests to see Granny. Piao Miao is here. How rare. Come in and have a seat. An old lady holding a dragon-headed walking stick appeared. She had a head full of silver hair, but her face was rosy without a single wrinkle. Lin Piao Miao carried her golden dress and entered the room in the ancient pagoda. Granny, Piao Miao has something I need your help with, Lin Piao Miao said after entering the room. That's strange. It's been so many years and I've never seen you ask for help. Tell me about it, the white-haired granny said. After Lin Piao Miao sat down, she told the granny about Night Sorrow and Night Sorrow's situation from beginning to end. Night Sorrow. Granny is familiar with this name. I remember now. The Divine Devil Castle sent a message to apply for a Divine Devil Guardian for him. He came from a humble background and reached this level before the age of 200. It's definitely unprecedented, not to mention that he's a virtuous half-emperor. How can he be a traitor of the human race? That's a joke, the white-haired granny said. There are many people nowadays who are more extreme in their actions. It's hard to bear this accusation. Therefore, Piao Miao wishes to see the Grand Elder. Lin Piao Miao said. The elders of the 100 Races Alliance led by the human race had different levels of elders. There were ordinary elders, law enforcement elders, and Grand Elder. Only the law enforcement elders had the qualifications to see the elders. Lin Piao Miao wasn't even an elder, so she didn't have the qualifications and needed a referral. The white-haired granny was one of the law enforcement elders. For the past million years, the law enforcement elder, Xiao Jun, has been on duty. He's more extreme in his actions. When it comes to this matter, he'd rather kill 1,000 innocents than let the culprit go. Therefore, you really need to see the Grand Elder. If the virtuous half-emperor is true, then the Grand Elder can just write a letter and be done with it. Such a young man should be heavily nurtured. How can he harm his own brother? At this moment, in another ancient pagoda, Bai Chuyuan was reporting the situation to a red-robed elder. He also mentioned Lin Piao Miao's attitude. Elder Enforcer, if we don't deal with this quickly, I'm afraid someone will interfere. It's hard to say if Gu Qi and Spirit Tree will find someone to interfere, but Lin Piao Miao will definitely find someone to plead for leniency. If someone interferes and we can't deal with it, it will become a hidden danger. It's hard to say if Night Sorrow has any connections with the dragons. Once this bomb explodes, it will be very troublesome. Bai Chuyuan said. First release, if we kill them directly, it will cause unnecessary conflicts and affect stability. How about this? Take him away tomorrow morning and banish him to the outside of Heaven Wasteland. That is not the territory of the human race. Whether he is alive or dead, whether he is a hidden danger or not, it doesn't matter. Banish both his original body and avatar and there won't be any problems in the future. The red-robed elder thought for a moment and said. The red-robed old man was the law enforcement sect's elder Xiao Jun, who had been on duty for the past million years. I'm afraid that won't work. He was sent to the prison by Gu Qi, Spirit Tree, and Chuyuan. Chuyuan can't get him out himself. Bai Chuyuan said. The prison system in Heaven Wasteland City was very strict. Whoever sent him in could only take him away. Of course, this was unless it was an order from the Elder Enforcer or Grand Elder. Tycoon, bring some people and Elder Bai with my letter. We will handle this together. Xiao Jun said to the man standing by the side. That was his eldest disciple, Tycoon. Master, don't worry. I will handle this matter well with Elder Bai. Tycoon, who was burly and had a face full of killing intent, bowed and said. Night Sorrow was meditating when the door to the prison opened. Bai Chuyuan and Tycoon appeared in the cell. Iron Flow was also there. Elder Gu isn't here? Night Sorrow stood up and asked. He knew that he had been tricked. Bai Chuyuan had obviously avoided Gu Qi and Spirit Tree, who were more protective of him and wanted to do something dirty. Night Sorrow, the Elder Enforcer, has sent a letter. This matter will be handled by Elder Bai and Commander Tycoon. Iron Flow said. Alright. However, I want to know the outcome. If there is no outcome, I can only stay in this cell and not leave. Night Sorrow knew that the time to decide his fate had come. He didn't even have the chance to prove that he was the merit pseudo-emperor because Bai Chuyuan was too fast and too ruthless. Master has ordered that you will be banished. Tycoon said. Banished? Alright. I can accept it. I can banish you however I want. Night Sorrow didn't refute when he heard that he would be banished. If he wasn't killed immediately, it meant that there was still a chance. After exiting the ancient pagoda prison, Night Sorrow realized that the lineup that was going to deal with him was really strong. Among the team led by Bai Chuyuan and Tycoon, there were 2 people whose cultivation levels he couldn't see through. There were also 4 people who were rank 9 monarchs. Take him away. Bai Chuyuan shouted. At this moment, two people whose cultivation levels Night Sorrow couldn't see through walked towards Night Sorrow. There's no need to take him away. I'll walk on my own. Night Sorrow smiled. Then, under Bai Chuyuan and Tycoon's lead, the team flew west. An hour later, they arrived at the western city wall of Tianhuang City. Bai Chuyuan made a few hand gestures, and the array formation that was circulating on the city wall paused for a moment. Night Sorrow, the opposite is Heaven Wasteland. There are all kinds of races with heaven-defying talents, and they are all opponents of the human race. There is also the natural enemy of the human race, the Demon Wing Clan. The Demon Wing Clan is very powerful, and they have the habit of hunting and eating the human race. Moreover, each of them is very powerful. Whether you can survive or not will depend on your luck. Also, let me tell you, you have to run quickly. This bridge is only safe for an hour. Later, the Silent Black Wind, which is similar to the divine wind of destruction in the Trial of Wind and Fire, will appear. After saying that, Bai Chuyuan waved his right hand and an energy vortex appeared. It enveloped Night Sorrow and threw him out of the crack in the city wall's array formation. Night Sorrow's expression changed. Bai Chuyuan was too ruthless. How was this banishment? This was murder. Furthermore, he was using a borrowed knife to kill. He was using the natural enemy of the human race to eliminate Night Sorrow. After throwing Night Sorrow out, Bai Chuyuan activated the defensive array formation on the city wall. After landing, Night Sorrow looked at the majestic modeled city wall. He knew that Bai Chuyuan wasn't lying. The marks on the city wall were filled with the aura of destruction. Once the Nirvana Black Wind appeared, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. Since the city wall was covered in such marks, it meant that the Nirvana Black Wind had a large area of effect. It was different from the Divine Wind of Destruction, which only attacked a single area. Left with no choice, Night Sorrow turned around and used his spacetime domain to fly at his fastest speed. He had to fly out of Tianhuang City's bridge as soon as possible. If he was too slow, he would be in trouble when the astral winds arrived. He didn't want to die yet. He still had to seek justice for himself. This is fate. Nothing good will come to those who offend Elder Bai. Tycoon glanced at Bai Chuyuan before turning to leave. His eyes were filled with disdain as he despised Bai Chuyuan's actions. Chapter 17:11. Night Sorrow used his fastest speed to rush forward. The bridge over the sea was very long. Night Sorrow flew for hundreds of thousands of miles before he left the sea and reached the land. When Night Sorrow reached the land, the astral winds behind him started to blow. It was incomparably strong. He couldn't go back. The astral winds were too strong. Night Sorrow knew that he couldn't go back this time. Perhaps he could wait until tomorrow and return to Heaven Desolate City during the astral winds cycle. However, if he couldn't go in, he wouldn't have enough time to run back. He didn't know that this sea region was the natural barrier between the human race and the demon-winged race. It was called the Nirvana Ocean. One couldn't fly over it. If he rashly entered the ocean, he would enter the Nirvana Samsara. Not to mention whether he could go back or not, Night Sorrow had to survive first. At this time, the Nirvana Black Wind swept towards the shore. Night Sorrow got up and ran. If he didn't run, he would be easily swept away by the Nirvana Black Wind. After flying for hundreds of thousands of miles, Night Sorrow reached the safe zone. Although it was called a safe zone, it was actually an area where the Nirvana Black Wind couldn't invade. Unknown dangers were everywhere. Night Sorrow knew that he was in the enemy camp. If he encountered the demon-winged race, he would be really unlucky. Night Sorrow didn't move. After the Haotian godly pagoda smashed into the ground, he entered. He needed information now. He needed information about Heaven Desolate. Without information, running around in the dark would be suicide. Although his original body and avatar were exiled, Night Sorrow still had a way because he still had an avatar in the Heaven Sealing Hall. Night Sorrow's avatar came out of the Heaven Sealing Hall and found 9 Regions City Lord's mansion. He asked Tai Shu Yen to inform Dachura to come and see him. No one in the Primal Chaos domain would delay Night Sorrow's matter. They would deal with it immediately. Soon, Dachura arrived at the Heaven Sealing Hall. Night Sorrow, what's the situation? Dachura asked. Night Sorrow said to Dachura, I was tricked. They didn't give me a fair trial and dealt with me privately. Go find Sister Xianair and tell her that I want information about Tianhuang. If you don't see her, go find Song Ning and tell him that you want information about Ethereal Combat Emperor. Wait for me. Dachura stood up and left. She did not ask Night Sorrow if the Ethereal Battle Emperor would give it to her. Now that Night Sorrow was in danger, she had to hurry. Returning to the Yue villa, Mandela indeed did not see Lin Xian'er. At this moment Lin Xian'er did not exist. Lin Piaomiao's original body had left the Misty Dynasty, which meant that her clone was in charge of the Misty Dynasty. Lin Xian'er had temporarily disappeared. Hearing Dachura's intention, Song Ning brought Dachura to the glazed pagoda in the city lord's mansion. She knew that the ethereal combat emperor and Lin Xian'er were the same person. Lin Piaomiao would definitely help Night Sorrow. When Song Ning and Lin Xian'er arrived, the door of the glazed pagoda opened. Lin Piaomiao was waiting for them inside. After hearing Dachura's words, Lin Piaomiao directly punched the outside of the pagoda. A stone mountain at the door of the pagoda directly collapsed. Since you're messing around, then I won't care so much. This is a letter about Heaven Desolate City and Heaven Desolate. Take it. Luckily, Night Sorrow still has a clone at home and can be contacted. This is my token. If you need anything, you don't have to report to me. Lin Piaomiao threw a token to Mandela. At this moment, Lin Piaomiao, who was drinking tea with the white-haired old woman in the Heavenly Desolation City, crushed the teacup in her hand. What's wrong? The white-haired old woman looked at Lin Piaomiao and frowned. Granny, they did not give Night Sorrow a chance to explain or prove himself. They directly banished Night Sorrow to Heavenly Desolation. Lin Piaomiao stood up. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, damn it. Is there a need to be so anxious? What is Xiao Jun trying to do? The white-haired old woman stood up and knocked her walking stick on the ground. Night Sorrow was the virtuous merit half-emperor. This matter was too serious. By Qiyuan, Lin Piaomiao will definitely kill him. Killing intent appeared on Lin Piaomiao's face. Calm down. Granny, inform the other law enforcement elders to find Xiao Jun for an explanation. Also, we need to see how to deal with this matter. The white-haired old woman closed her eyes for a while and stood up. Just now, she had informed the other law enforcement elders through soul transmission. The white-haired old woman's name was Qin Qianjie. She was once very famous. However, as time passed, her name did not spread to the world. Xiao Jun also received the news. Seems like this matter is quite serious. Tycoon, call by Chu Yuan to the conference hall. Soon, many people gathered in the conference hall of the Central High Tower. Sect Elder Xiao, regarding Night Sorrow's matter, don't you think you handled it inappropriately? Qin Qianjie, who was sitting on a silver chair, spoke. There were 7 silver chairs and 2 golden chairs in the conference hall. The 7 silver chairs were for the law enforcement elders. The 2 golden chairs were for the Grand Elder and the City Lord. However, the City Lord's seat had always been empty. How is it inappropriate? Since it's a hidden danger, it should be completely eliminated. There's nothing wrong with banishing him, Xiao Jun said. Have you investigated it? Have you found out about the young man's situation? Qin Qianjie asked. The other law enforcement elders were waiting for Xiao Jun's answer. This is the result of the investigation of the 3 elders. How could it be wrong? Xiao Jun said. Then let's wait for the 3 elders to arrive and see what they have to say. Inform them, one of the law enforcement elders said. Moments later, Gu Qi, Ling Shu, and Bai Chu Yuan arrived. Elder Bai, tell us about Night Sorrow's situation, Xiao Jun said. Seeing so many elders and law enforcement elders present, Bai Chu Yuan was stunned. Then he explained the situation, mainly emphasizing Night Sorrow's unyielding character. Elder Gu, what do you think? Qin Qianjie looked at Gu Qi. That young man should be fine. His eyes are pure and he looks handsome. He doesn't look like a traitor. Therefore, I suggest that the sect elders carefully judge him. He's a good seedling. He's a martial emperor cultivator who's less than 200 years old. He has the strength to fight above his level and capture a 2-star martial emperor. He's worth nurturing, Gu Qi said. Nurture? Last night, we banished him to Tianhuang region without a trial. Are we trying to destroy our own cultivation and destroy our own empire? Qin Qianjie slammed his walking stick on the ground. What? Last night, Elder Ling Shu, Elder Bai, and I sent Night Sorrow to his cell. Today we have to report it to the law enforcement elders. How could he be banished? Gu Qi was stunned. He was the current law enforcement elder of the human race. When there was a trial, he should be present. Chapter 1712. Piaomiao, calm down. Xiao Jun, is this the result of your investigation that the virtuous half-emperor was exiled? Is he really going to destroy his own foundation? Qin Qianjie's face turned cold. What's going on? A grand perfection virtuous half-martial emperor can become a virtuous emperor at any time. This is the future of our human race. Are you all crazy to banish him as a traitor? Another old man sitting on a silver chair roared. But no one explained it to me. Xiao Jun's face didn't look too good. This matter involved too many things. If no one explained it to you, why did you exile him in the middle of the night? Can't you wait until dawn? Harmony in the alliance is the most important thing. But let me ask you one thing. What is Xiao Jun's intention? Is he going to destroy the foundation of our human race or what? The old man roared again. Emperor Tang, this matter hasn't been concluded yet. You don't have to be so agitated. There has never been a virtuous half-emperor in history, right? Who can prove it? Xiao Jun said. Then who can prove that he's a traitor? The law enforcement elder called Emperor Tang stood up. Piao Miao, it's your turn to speak. Qin Xianjie said. When he advanced his virtuous body, Lin Piao Miao was right beside him. Aren't you guys very good at divination? Now you need proof? Are you out of your mind? Lin Piao Miao was furious. Lin Piao Miao, be polite. This is the Human Clan's Council of Elders. Bai Chuyuan stood up and said. Be polite to you? Since I've decided to withdraw, I won't give you any face. You better not go out. If you go out, I'll kill you. Lin Piao Miao, want to see how strong you are. Lin Piao Miao didn't give Bai Chuyuan any face. Lin Piao Miao's words had peeled off a layer of skin on everyone's face. Can't we do divination? Let's do it now. Since we've decided to cause trouble today, let's try it. Emperor Tang said. Elder Zhai Xing, you're good at divination. Give it a try. Since Elder Bai needs proof, we'll give him the proof. Once the results are out, we'll have to come to a conclusion about what happened last night. We'll have to see if it was intentional and if it was to destroy our own foundation, Qin Xianjie said to a skinny old man. The old man nodded and looked at Gu Qi. Elder Gu, I'll start to find a connection with him from you. Is that all right? Normally he should start from Lin Piao Miao to find a way to interact with Night Sorrow. However, Lin Piao Miao was in a fit of anger. This skinny Elder Zhai Xing could only be replaced with someone else. Sure. Gu Qi nodded. There were no problems with the divination skills of the human race patriarchs. They were extremely well trained. It only took a moment for the divination to begin. The scene began to change. Pass. Lin Piao Miao said when she saw the image. Look at Chapter B of version 0, J. Divination could be used to divine the present and the past. Some insignificant scenes would be ignored. Night Sorrow had only recently become a virtuous merit half-martial emperor. It had not even been a month, so it was very easy for him to divine the future. There's no blind person here, right? Everyone can see the depth of the virtuous power. Is this the human race's rebellion? Qin Xianjie's ruddy face was no longer red. It was replaced by a cold white color. Xiao Jun, we need an explanation. Emperor Tang spoke. This is my mistake. When I received the report, I only knew that he had connections with the Black Dragons. Therefore, I didn't want any hidden dangers to exist. Therefore, I banished him. As for him being a virtuous merit half-martial emperor, no one reported this. Therefore, I made a mistake in judgment. Xiao Jun's face was ugly. He knew that something had gone wrong. Commander Lin, why didn't anyone mention that he was a virtuous body? Emperor Tang looked at Lin Piao Miao. Because he was afraid that some people would assassinate him. Therefore, he planned to talk about this after meeting the person in charge. However, some people still tried to assassinate him. I arrived shortly after and didn't even make it in time. That's a good move. They didn't even let him sleep. Lin Piao Miao's face was filled with killing intent. Her eyes were fixed on Bai Chuyuan. She knew that Bai Chuyuan was the one who added fuel to the fire. Someone wanted to kill him. Why did they want to kill him instead of bringing him back? Elder Gu, what's the situation? Emperor Tang asked. Because Elder Bai said several times that we would kill him directly. Therefore he was worried. There's nothing wrong with that. Gu Qi didn't give Bai Chuyuan any face. Elder Ling Shu, you went with him too. What's the situation? A middle-aged man in silver clothes asked. He was also sitting on a silver chair. I'm very disappointed. I was worried that something might go wrong. Therefore Elder Gu and I were very cautious. We accompanied him until he was sent to the dungeon. We planned to discuss with the enforcement elder today. Night Sorrow didn't get the chance and neither did I. Elder Ling Shu sighed. Elder Bai, Enforcement Elder Xiao, do you have anything to say? If not, I will report this matter to the Great Elder and let the Great Elder decide on this matter. In addition, we will also discuss the problem of rescuing him, the man in silver said. He was Lu Qi, the sect elder in charge of discipline in Tianhuang City. People called him Sect Elder 7. I have nothing to say. Xiao Jun said. Commander Lin, please don't say anything about leaving the alliance. The rise and fall of the human race is everyone's responsibility. Even if it's not satisfactory, we'll think of a way to solve it. I'll give you an explanation and justice for Night Sorrow. Lu Qi looked at Lin Piaomiao and said. That's right. Piaomiao, you're in charge of the Piaomiao Empire. There are also some palace lords under you who are unsatisfactory. However, it doesn't affect the overall situation. Elder 7 will handle it well. Qin Qianjie said. Commander Lin, you abhor evil. I see you as the next enforcement elder. I've told Elder Qin about this. Won't you disappoint us if you leave? Lu Qi looked at Lin Piaomiao. In the 100 Races Alliance, humans occupied most of the elder seats. There were rules in the alliance and there would be people to implement and manage them. The enforcement elder was in charge of the internal discipline. How could he manage the discipline without great combat strength? Therefore Lu Qi had told Qin Qianjie, who was the closest to Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao had the ability but lacked experience. Piaomiao has disappointed Elder 7. I won't say anything about leaving. However, I'm not done with him. Lin Piaomiao pointed at Bai Chuyuan and said. Elder Bai, before the Grand Elder's decision is made, you're not allowed to leave Tianhuang City. Otherwise you'll be executed. Disperse. Commander Lin, follow me to see the Grand Elder. Lu Qi stood up and walked out of the meeting hall. Lin Piaomiao glanced at Bai Chuyuan and left the meeting hall. In the end the elders left. Xiao Jun took Bai Chuyuan with him. Now that Bai Chuyuan was in trouble, Xiao Jun also had problems. Therefore he had to give an explanation. He had to wait for the Grand Elder's decision. During this period he had to watch over Bai Chuyuan. Chapter 1713. Sect Elder Qin, this generation's commander, is really troublesome. The great demon king is not letting go of heaven's fate, causing the commander of heaven's fate to only exist in name. He doesn't even dare to show his face. Now Elder Bai is probably not any better. Lin Piaomiao won't let him go. Emperor Tang said. He's an enemy of the Merit Demi-Emperor and used a secret move against him. He's destined to lose his fortune and be unlucky. What can we do about it? As the old saying goes, don't bully a poor young man. Who are you blaming for being blind? Qin Qianjie's words were filled with anger. It's not a big problem. It's only been half a day. This kid can't have gone far. The Grand Elder has given the order. We'll wait for the tidal period to arrive and go out to look for him. A young man who's not even 200 years old can cultivate to the Emperor realm and even reach the Merit Demi-Emperor realm. This is the future of our human race. This is a good thing. I'm suddenly very happy. Emperor Tang said with a smile. We should send someone to investigate this kid's past and help him choose a suitable path for his development. All right, Gu Qi and Ling Shu don't look happy today. They should be admiring Night Sorrow. Let's go and ask them. Emperor Tang stood up and said. After that, Emperor Tang and Qin Qianjie found Elder Ling Shu. In a courtyard, Elder Ling Shu was kicking a medicinal cauldron. What's the matter? Why is Elder Ling Shu so angry? Qin Qianjie asked. Elder Ling Shu greets the two law enforcement sect elders. Elder Ling Shu just feels that it's unfair. Elder Ling Shu said after tidying up his robe. Because of Night Sorrow? Emperor Tang sat down and looked at the medicinal cauldron that was already flattened. Yes. If our Ling Shu clan has such a young man, we'll use the entire clan's strength to nurture him. The human race is big and powerful, so we don't care. It's just that the kid has suffered. Elder Ling Shu said. It seems that Elder Ling Shu knows a lot about Night Sorrow. Can you tell us more about him? Qin Qianjie asked. He's not even 200 years old, but his past is legendary. During this period of time, I've heard a lot about him. He's courageous, fearless, and has battle prowess that far surpasses his cultivation. He's an indomitable spirit, and he's also an imperial blacksmith and imperial alchemist. Such a person was actually sentenced to be a traitor to humanity and banished. Is there any justice in this? If you humans don't want him, give him to my Spirit Tree clan. If anything goes wrong, I'm willing to take his head, said Elder Spirit Tree. Commander Lin Piaomiao can't tolerate sand in her eyes. She appreciates him so much. But Elder Ling Shu, don't think about snatching him away. Do you think the 7th sect elder will give in? Besides, Elder Ling Shu, don't be angry. After a cultivator with the body of merit appears, it's a cleansing phase. It's a cleansing phase for those with inferior moral conduct. There will be endless disputes around him. If he doesn't fall, he'll be enforcing justice on behalf of the heavens. Those who shouldn't exist will be erased. Emperor Tang said. That's true. Since you guys know about it, you naturally won't let him go. When he comes back, I'll take him as my disciple in alchemy. You guys don't have any objections, right? Elder Ling Shu said. That's not a problem. Of course it depends on him. I'm impressed that Elder Ling Shu can forego racial prejudice and impart your skills. Emperor Tang looked at Elder Ling Shu and said. It can't be helped. You guys haven't seen him refine pills. His technique is so crude that it's unbearable to look at. But with such a crude technique, there's no problem in refining emperor-level pills. I even heard that he's an emperor-level alchemist before becoming an emperor. What kind of talent is that? Elder Ling Shu was a little agitated as he kicked the cauldron again. Don't be agitated. We understand, we understand. Emperor Tang quickly waved his hand. I shouldn't talk behind people's backs. But that old bastard Bai Chuyuan deserves to die. Elder Ling Shu roared. The 7th sect elder will handle this matter. I still don't understand. This is the first time Elder Bai and Knight Sorrow have met, right? Why are they hostile? Emperor Tang asked, puzzled. Elder Ling Shu knows a little. This matter is related to the Celestial Sect. Bai Chuyuan has a good relationship with the Celestial Sect. Celestial Sect was forced by the Great Demon King to hide, so he has been taking care of the Celestial Sect. This time, Knight Sorrow captured a 2-star emperor from the Celestial Sect, the one who captured a member of the Black Dragons to refine pills alive. Knight Sorrow abhors evil. He killed the 2-star emperor right in front of the Celestial Sect master. This time, the news reached Bai Chuyuan's ears through the Celestial Sect. This is the cause and effect. Sect elders, do you understand now? Elder Ling Shu said. That bastard is using his position to avenge private grudges. Qin Qianjie cursed. At this moment, Lu Qi brought Lin Piaomiao to the top floor of the central tower. That was where the Grand Elder usually cultivated. After the two of them arrived, an oval-shaped energy door appeared. Lu Qi brought Lin Piaomiao in. After entering, the two of them saw a small world filled with birds and fragrant flowers. In a pavilion, an old man with white hair and beard sat cross-legged on a futon. His aura was very calm, but beside him was a silver spear with a soaring aura. I already know what happened. The old man opened his eyes and pointed at the futon in front of Lu Qi and Lin Piaomiao. Grand Elder, that Bai Chuyuan should be beheaded. Lu Qi said after sitting down. Behead? Forget it. After all, he has contributed to the human race in the past. Strip him of his elder status and expel him from Tianhuang City. As for law enforcement Elder Shao, this is a mistake. He has a ruthless personality, but he didn't mean to destroy the foundation of the human race. He has already informed me to end his law enforcement term early. The white-haired Grand Elder said. Then I will send someone to bring that Knight Sorrow back. Lu Qi said. Don't bring him back. Since he has been exiled, we will follow this ruling. The Grand Elder shook his head. How can we do that? He is the virtuous merit half-emperor. He is the future of the human race. Lu Qi said anxiously. If a jade is not carved, it will not become a treasure. A sword's edge must be sharpened. This is a test for him, a tempering. After this baptism, he will become mature and powerful, said the Great Elder. Square Z chapter hashtag section 1, Grand Elder, he is too young. How can he be a match for those winged demon race? This is too risky. Lin Piaomiao said. This is not my decision. When you came an hour ago, my decision was the same as yours. Now this is the City Lord's order. This is the City Lord's first order in this little era, the Great Elder said as he looked at the receipt of the ticket. The City Lord knows about this? Lu Qi looked at the Grand Elder in surprise. I don't know how the order came. The City Lord is concerned about this matter. You don't have to worry about it. The Grand Elder nodded. Why is there such an arrangement? Lin Piaomiao was puzzled. Chapter 17-14. Immortal Potential? Lu Qi stood up, his face full of shock. That's right. So don't ask about this anymore. Come back when he passes the tide of nirvana. The City Lord said that you can contact him. Tell him that when he passes the tide of nirvana, I will personally come out of the city to welcome him. However, from today onwards, the Heavenly Desolate City will deactivate the anti-star formation and will no longer affect the tide of nirvana. In other words, the tide of nirvana will surround the Heavenly Desolate City at all times, the Grand Elder said to Lin Piaomiao. Didn't you say that his original body and clone were exiled? Lu Qi looked at Lin Piaomiao. Of his 2 clones, one is in his own world? Lin Piaomiao asked. She only found out when Dachira asked her for information. 2 clones? How ruthless. Immortal potential. Since the city lord has asked about this, I won't interfere anymore. Let's go, Commander Lin. Lu Qi stood up. Commander Lin, let's not find trouble with Bai Chuyuan for now. Let's wait until Night Sorrow's problem is completely resolved. One more thing, there are members of other races around Night Sorrow. No matter what race they are not allowed to attack. This is also the city lord's intention. Also, Xiao Jun has cancelled his enforcement period. Elder Lu, take over. The Grand Elder said. Lu Qi nodded and left the tower with Lin Piaomiao. Commander Lin, that's all. We'll do as the Grand Elder said. The city lord hasn't asked about the heavenly desolate cities matters for many years. Now that he has asked, it means that he has made arrangements, Lu Qi said after leaving the tower. All right. Lin Piaomiao nodded. She knew that the only ones who were extreme in the treatment of Night Sorrow were Xiao Jun and Bai Chuyuan. Now that the 2 of them had dealt with it, they could only wait and see. Also, leave one of your original body and one of your avatars in Tianhuang City and follow me to deal with the matters of the law enforcement period. After this law enforcement period, I will step down as the Commandment Elder. I think you are suitable, Lu Qi said. But Misty's experience is still shallow. Lin Piaomiao said. She knew that the person with the highest position in the Council of Elders was the Grand Elder, followed by the Law Enforcing Elder, and the Discipline Elder was in charge of life and death. What's the use of seniority? Being in charge of discipline and dealing with rebels, how can you do without strength? Who would dare to accept the position of Discipline Elder? Lu Qi said. Misty Imperial City, Night Moon Villa. Lin Piaomiao found Dachira and told him that she wanted to meet Night Sorrow. Sir Battle Emperor, please wait for a moment. I need to inform Night Sorrow that all cultivators above rank 9 in our domain have to get his permission before they can enter, Dachira said. All right. Lin Piaomiao nodded. She didn't blame Dachira because she was Lin Piaomiao. She didn't have enough trust in Dachira's heart. Dachira went to the 9-domain world and found Night Sorrow's clone. He told Night Sorrow that Lin Piaomiao wanted to meet him. Bring her over. There's no problem. Night Sorrow nodded. Dachira was stunned because Night Sorrow's trust was a little blind. She didn't know much about Misty Battle Emperor, but since Night Sorrow said it, she didn't ask for the reason. After returning to the Night Moon Villa, he brought Lin Piaomiao to the 9-domain world. Lin Piaomiao and Dachira came out of the teleportation array and Night Sorrow was waiting for them outside. Sister Xian is here. Night Sorrow smiled and greeted. Sister Xian Dachira turned around because she didn't see Lin Xian Aluo. Lin Piaomiao took off her veil. Misty Battle Emperor and Sister Xian are the same person? Dachira finally understood, but she was still shocked. She didn't expect Misty Battle Emperor to be their friend Lin Xian. My name is Lin Piaomiao, but I used to be nicknamed Lin Xian. Lin Xian smiled and said. That's too shocking. Dachira was still shocked. Then let's go to the tea house for tea. Night Sorrow said. He knew that Lin Piaomiao must have brought news. After entering the tea house, Night Sorrow invited Lin Xian to sit down and made tea. The 9-domain world is really full of vitality. Lin Xian said after feeling it. Yes, it's a new world and it's still developing. Night Sorrow said. Your body and soul are condensed, similar to the original body. Lin Xian looked at Night Sorrow and said. It's about the same. If something happens to the original body, this doppelganger can be used as the original body. Unfortunately, it has already merged with the heaven ceiling hall behind us, so it can't move around much and can't move around. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then Lin Piaomiao told him about what happened in Tianhuang City today, the Grand Elder's decision and the source of the order. Not letting me go back, are they trying to kill me? Looks like I'll have to live in Tianhuang City for a while. Night Sorrow slapped his forehead. Actually, it's not a bad thing for you. Persevering and surviving should be a training experience for you. The city lord of Tianhuang City's arrangement shouldn't be wrong. After so many years, the members of the law enforcement clan have changed, the human clan's elders have fallen and the new ones have changed, but only the city lord hasn't changed. No one knows what level he is at, but he's the pillar of the human clan. In the last war, the human clan alliance was at a disadvantage. The strongest Grand Elder and the disciplined Clan Elder were at a disadvantage when fighting against the Demonic Wings Emperor. It was the City Lord of Tianhuang City who stepped in and defeated the Demonic Wings Emperor. Lin Piaomiao said. Then how did the human clan alliance get heavily injured by the Black Dragons? Night Sorrow asked. Because after defeating the demonic Wings Emperor, the city lord of Tianhuang City asked the Grand Elder to clean up the aftermath and go after the demonic Wings Emperor. That's when the Black Dragons attacked. The Black Dragon King's cultivation was high and no one in the alliance could stop him. The disciplined clan elder died in the battle. When the 7th elder appeared, he was only an ordinary clan elder, but he managed to stop the Black Dragon King. After the battle, his strength was recognized and he became the law enforcement clan elder. Lin Piaomiao said. Sister Xian'er knows so much. Datura said. Okay. Sister Xian'er and Song Ning both participated in the battle. Sister Xian'er led Song Ning, Luo Yuan Dao, Yuanji and Elder Lan. Lin Piaomiao's thoughts drifted. Although a long time had passed, some things were still deep in her memory. I see. Night Sorrow nodded. I have a set of information and a map for you. Do you see this line? Don't go there, you'll die without a doubt. You can train outside the red line in the area connected to the Nirvana Ocean and raise your cultivation. However, your current strength is far from enough to return to Tianhuang City. According to normal calculations, you'll need to be at least an Emperor realm and above to be able to withstand the Nirvana Black Wind. Otherwise you'll be annihilated. Lin Xian'er took out a map and explained to Night Sorrow. Chapter 17:15. This will take a long time. It's not something that can be done in a short period of time. Night Sorrow was a little hesitant. Then work hard. The natural environment there is harsh and there are many natural ferocious beasts. It is not suitable for survival, but the cultivation conditions are not bad. The most important thing is that you survive first. Lin Xian'er explained to Night Sorrow. This is not difficult. Night Sorrow, take the space acceleration magic treasure and find a suitable place to lie down and improve your cultivation. Datura said. This is a safe way, but I don't recommend it because it will lose the meaning of training. The city lord of Tianhuang City must have made this arrangement for a reason. Be cautious and improve your cultivation during training. This way your cultivation will be the most solid and your combat strength will not be weak. In addition, this may also be a chance for you to break through to the virtuous half-martial emperor. The Demon-Winged clan is the natural enemy of humans and the 100 races. If you go to the Demon-Winged clan's territory to train, whether you find useful information or kill them, it will be a merit for humans. It will also improve your qualifications to join the Tianhuang City in the future. Lin Xian'er said. I am not interested in joining the Tianhuang City, but improving my strength is not a conflict. I will stay outside for now. Night Sorrow nodded. He did not have a good impression of the Tianhuang City because he did not approve of people like Bai Chuyuan who could become a sect elder of the human race. He was a little repulsed by the title of sect elder of the human race. You don't want to join? Let's talk about it later. Anyway, the most important thing now is to survive and kill the spies of the Demon-Winged clan if you encounter them. If you have any problems, feel free to contact me. In fact, this is the same as what I originally expected, but there are some deviations. Lin Xian'er was stunned when she heard that Night Sorrow was not willing to join the Tianhuang City. I don't understand what Sister Xian'er means. Datura said. Looking at Night Sorrow and Datura's puzzled eyes, Lin Xian'er explained. The human race had always been looking for and cultivating talents. Many sect elders had selected good seedlings from the human race and brought them to the Tianhuang City to cultivate. However, the requirements to enter the Tianhuang City were very high. The lowest level was the Lord of Heaven because the Tianhuang City did not have the energy to start from scratch and could only cultivate high-end talents. Heavenly Monarch is the threshold, and this threshold is really high, Datura muttered. Because of the war, there's no point for those with low cultivation to go. They'll just be sending themselves to their deaths. Therefore, when choosing, they avoid wasting energy and resources as well as unnecessary sacrifices. After Yi Shang came to the Ethereal Empire, I had this idea. However, I felt that Yi Shang had a lot of room for improvement. It wasn't too late to think about it later, so I didn't mention it. Who would have thought that this would happen? The Sky Terminus Saint Emperor is shameless. Even his sect is shameless. That Bai Chuyuan is the same. He will be dealt with sooner or later. Lin Piaomiao's face was filled with anger when she mentioned Bai Chuyuan. With this map I'll stay there for a long time. If I can't survive the Nirvana tide, who did I offend? Night Sorrow said helplessly. The doppelganger in the Heaven Sealing Hall received some information about the Tianhuang City. Night Sorrow's original body and battle doppelganger both knew about it and had some understanding of the Tianhuang city. The demon-winged race was the strongest race in the Tianhuang city. They were even stronger than the human race in the celestial realm and the divine beast race. Permanent, free % look small asterisk hashtag say point. The celestial realm was the name of the human race's territory. The Tianhuang city was the territory of the demon-winged race. The Tianhuang city was an undeveloped region. The demon-winged race was strong, but other civilizations were inferior to the human race. Because they fought against the heavens and the earth, their valiant nature prevailed. They were a fighting race. In their eyes, the human race was an alien race. They would definitely kill any human race that they saw. They would often attack the celestial realm. However, with the Nirvana Ocean as a barrier and the existence of the Tianhuang city, the human race's territory was safe. Night Sorrow found a relatively safe place and set up an illusion array. In the middle of the illusion array he set up an Emperor-grade teleportation array. Then he embedded a teleportation crystal on it. It was the same set that he removed in the evil Punisher land. In the Ice Dragon world, the Emperor-grade teleportation crystal that Night Sorrow obtained was very large. It could be cut into 4 main bodies and some doppelgangers. If it was a rank 8 interrealm teleportation array, he could connect to other teleportation arrays within the teleportation range by exchanging the doppelgangers of the crystals. However, Emperor-level teleportation portals were impossible. Connecting Emperor-level teleportation portals to one another was possible, but the only Emperor-level teleportation portals Night Sorrow had seen so far were the ones connected to Tianhuang City and Tianhuang City. He couldn't connect to others even if he wanted to. Therefore, if Night Sorrow wanted to set up an Emperor-grade teleportation array, he could only use his main body and doppelgangers. He could only set up 4. Currently, 9 regions world had Emperor-grade teleportation arrays, Starmoon City had Emperor-grade teleportation arrays, and Night Moon's Villa also had Emperor-grade teleportation arrays. The only one left was the one that Night Sorrow could move. After setting up the teleportation array and embedding the main body and doppelgangers of the Emperor-grade teleportation crystal, Night Sorrow sighed. Just as he had guessed, the teleportation crystal would be black if the distance was too large. In other words, it couldn't be used. After taking the Emperor-grade teleportation crystal, Night Sorrow embedded another interrealm teleportation crystal. This way, even if he left this place he could continue to set up interrealm teleportation arrays. If it was an Emperor-grade teleportation array, he wouldn't be able to complete the connection even if he left. In addition, the materials were too precious. There was no need to take unnecessary risks. After setting up a stronghold, Night Sorrow set off. He wanted to find a suitable place to cultivate. His domain of nothingness and will of destruction had to be improved. If he entered the Emperor grade, his domain would be improved. In addition, his main purpose here was to gain experience. If he could kill more demon-winged clansmen, it would be a merit, or he could break through the bottleneck of merit half-emperor. Night Sorrow had a measure of his strength. His strength was unparalleled in the same realm. However, this was only potential. There were too many people in the celestial realm who were stronger than him. In front of monarchs and emperors this was nothing. However, the body of merit was different. Currently, no one had reached his height. If he could become the merit monarch, he would be peerless and would be a real asset. For Night Sorrow, the power of merit was only useful in battle. This was because the absolute command was only effective at the 8th step. He could deal with opponents of the 8th step with his own strength. The power of merit was useless. However, if he entered the Emperor grade, it would have a substantial effect on Emperor grade cultivators. There were too many ferocious beasts in the infinite wasteland. They could be encountered at any time. Emperor grade ferocious beasts were not rare at all. This was the buffer zone between humans and demon-winged clansmen. It was a paradise for demonic beasts. However, it was not a threat to Night Sorrow. In the infinite wasteland city, the Grand Elder called for Emperor Tang. Arrange for some diviners to divine Night Sorrow's situation once a month. Also, pay close attention to Bai Chuyuan's whereabouts. The Grand Elder instructed Emperor Tang. Chapter 1716. It's a waste of energy. This person is narrow-minded. We should just kill him, Emperor Tang said. It's not appropriate. Others may not be narrow-minded, but we must be. Otherwise we'll end up like him, the Grand Elder said, shaking his head. All right. We'll listen to the Grand Elder's arrangements. Emperor Tang nodded. Also, the City Lord has instructed that we should pay close attention to Night Sorrow's world. Not that realm, but Night Sorrow's world. No matter what the reason is, the people around him, even if they're members of other races, must not be harmed, the Grand Elder added. Emperor Tang was stunned. The city lord had not appeared for many years, nor had he given any orders. He did not understand why he would pay so much attention to Night Sorrow. The Grand Elder nodded at Emperor Tang, confirming that Emperor Tang did not hear wrong. Emperor Tang arrived at the Hall of Enforcers where Lu Qi and Lin Piaomiao were hiding. Emperor Tang, Elder Tang is here. Lu Qi, who was reading a file, nodded at Emperor Tang. I just took over and there are many things to deal with. Elder 7, you'll have to work hard for a while, Emperor Tang greeted. It's all right. It's just that Elder Xiao suddenly encountered a problem and many things were caught off guard. This was after I persuaded Commander Lin to stay and help me deal with these matters. After Lu Qi closed the file, he took out a tea set and brewed a pot of tea. By the way, Commander Lin, I heard from Elder Ling Shu that there's a very famous tea house in Ethereal City. There are no seats available and the price is ridiculously high. A pot of tea costs thousands of Saint Spirit stones. Aren't you going to do something about it? Isn't this robbery? This is not a good atmosphere. For us humans to develop, the atmosphere and strength of character are very important. Evil people must be dealt with, Emperor Tang said. What Elder Tang knows is only one side. The price is indeed very expensive, ridiculously expensive. But why are there no seats available? It was because everyone agreed that the price was reasonable and they were willing to go. There were 2 kinds of tea in the Twilight Tea House. One was the heart-cleansing tea and the other was the enlightenment tea. One could cleanse the soul, and the other could concentrate on comprehending the Tao. Although the effect was only average, it was enough. What was the signboard of the Twilight Tea House? There are bright moons everywhere in the celestial realm. Only the twilight moon is different. Until now, no one has doubted it. It lives up to its name, Lin Piaomiao said. Is it really that powerful? After hearing Lin Piaomiao's words, Emperor Tang asked in return. It's really amazing. Misty Mist has some heart-cleansing tea here. Why don't the 2 elders try it? This is Night Sorrow's heart-cleansing tea. It's a gift to Buddha with borrowed flowers. Lin Misty Mist took out a teapot and started brewing tea. Night Sorrow's heart-cleansing tea. Nothing happened, but I'm going to benefit from this kid, Lu Qi said with a smile. The behind-the-scenes boss of the Twilight Tea House is actually Night Sorrow. He has a preference for good tea and good wine. The tea and wine he drinks are not available in the celestial realm, Lin Piaomiao said as she brewed the tea. I don't know how this kid is now. In an unfamiliar environment, he has no companions and has to rely on himself. It's worrying. I haven't seen a merit demi-emperor who hasn't been born yet. If anything happens, I'll deal with Bai Chuyuan immediately, Lu Qi said. Nothing will happen. Misty Mist talked to him and gave him some information about Tianhuang. He should have some idea about Tianhuang and the demon-winged clan, Lin Piaomiao said. He's been exiled, but you can still talk to him. What kind of method is that? Emperor Tang looked at Lin Piaomiao in surprise. His original body and an avatar were exiled, but he still has an avatar in his world, Lin Piaomiao explained the situation. What's the concept of his world? Lu Qi asked. There are some things about him that outsiders don't know. I'll tell the 2 elders. This guy's background is very deep. He's a realm lord and has the world's origin in his body. It's a supreme attribute that's perfectly compatible with his attributes. He's born with the void attribute and it's perfect. He's now a demi-emperor. He also has the destruction attribute. Although he wasn't born with it, it's complete without any impurities. The cultivation of the destruction attribute is the bottleneck of the monarch realm. Wasn't he said to be a space-time 1-star emperor? Why does he have 2 supreme attributes now? Lu Qi stood up. He's sincere, but he's not stupid. He won't expose his background. Not only is he a space-time emperor, but his body is also at the Overlord realm. He doesn't use energy and his physical attacks are at the Overlord realm. One of his clones in the world has fused with a treasure manifested by the world's origin. He can't leave the world. Besides, his original body has the world's origin to protect him. He's truly immortal, Lin Piaomiao said. This guy really knows how to hide. He didn't reveal himself until he was exiled. Lu Qi nodded. He has great potential. With 3 attributes, he already has a very deep foundation. If his comprehension is higher, he'll be a perfect seedling, Emperor Tang said. Comprehension? Emperor Tang, Elder, do you think that he's from a small world? Without any inheritance, he reached the Overlord realm in 200 years. His comprehension isn't bad. Most of his combat techniques were developed by himself. Currently, his strongest technique was developed by himself. He single-handedly defeated Donghao Mountain, a force with 2 monarchs. The 2 monarchs couldn't do anything to him. In the end, they were forced to compromise and give up half of their territory. This shows his combat strength and comprehension. Lin Piaomiao recounted the battle between Knight Sorrow and Donghao Mountain. That means he's also a war genius. Emperor Tang exhaled and said. %L forever H free. W look UJ small asterisk P say 5-inch Piaomiao feels that our sect elders should really pay attention to his situation. What we know now is just bits and pieces. He has commanded several realm battles and won all of them. He is a master tactician. Lin Piaomiao said. Lu Qi lowered his head and pondered. After a moment he raised his head. I've informed Gu Qi and Elder Spirit Tree to come over. Both of them admire Knight Sorrow, so they're the most suitable to investigate this matter. They're also the most reliable to ensure that nothing harms Knight Sorrow. Lin Piaomiao nodded her head. She wouldn't be at ease if it was anyone else but Gu Qi and Elder Ling Shu. This little guy's foundation is still very deep. We must dig it out. After we understand it, we can make appropriate arrangements. Countless years have passed, and our human race has always been at a disadvantage in the battle against the demon-winged clan. Therefore we must pay attention to the cultivation of young people. The Grand Elder appeared in the conference hall. Lu Qi, Emperor Tang and Lin Piaomiao stood up and cupped their hands in greeting. Everyone take a seat. Fortunately Piaomiao, you came in time. Otherwise, there would be too many problems with the handling of this matter. Piaomiao, you're right about one thing. Our human race is really destroying our own foundation. The Grand Elder sat down and said. Chapter 17:17. What? That bastard actually said he doesn't want to join Tianhuang City? Lu Qi slammed the table. 7th Elder, you don't have to be angry. Now that he has appeared in Misty Dynasty's territory, Misty Dynasty couldn't even let him join Misty Dynasty even if we wanted to. Hence, we could only let him be the unrestricted overlord of Misty Dynasty. To put it bluntly, his ambition is huge and he won't be restrained by others. This is the pride in the depths of his soul. Those who haven't seen him wouldn't understand. His pride is in his bones, in his soul. Let's not talk about this first. Our human race has been developing slowly these years. Most of the commanders are still from the human race. But what about the captains? They are all from the other races of the Alliance. If this continues, there will be a shortage of manpower. There is no problem with Misty being the next commander of Heaven Wasteland Domain. She will remain in the human race. However, will the vanguard position of Heaven Wasteland Domain still belong to the human race? The human race has the largest population and the Alliance has always been led by the human race. However, we have to be fair to the other races in the Alliance. The elders of Tianxiang race, Rock race, Phantom race, and Fox race aren't in Tianhuang City recently. They are all training the next generation. If we want the Alliance to be stable, strength is the most important thing, the Grand Elder said. Lu Qi and Emperor Tang bowed and listened. Lin Piaomiao didn't say anything. The Grand Elder knew the situation in Tianhuang City the best. Grand Elder, if Knight Sorrow really doesn't want to join Tianhuang City and serve the human race because of Bai Chuyuan and Xiao Jun's unfair punishment, what should we do? Emperor Tang asked. Piaomiao can handle it. Is there anything that Piaomiao can't handle? Moreover, he is the virtuous merit half-emperor. He won't be so narrow-minded. Whoever wronged him, he will find that person. He won't act on impulse and ignore the big picture. The Grand Elder looked at Lin Piaomiao. Grand Elder, you have thrown such a big hat at me. Piaomiao has to accept it. Lin Piaomiao sighed and said. And just accept it? The Grand Elder nodded at Lin Piaomiao and left. Knight Sorrow advanced for a while and calculated the distance. He then set up a teleportation array that was connected to his stronghold. He then began to refine an array disk. He wanted to refine a top-grade teleportation array disk so that he could embed some high-grade teleportation crystals. Because he could set up an Emperor-level teleportation array and had reached the level of an Emperor-level artifact master, Knight Sorrow's artifact refining skills had skyrocketed. After failing twice, he finally refined a top-grade teleportation array disk. However, its size was relatively larger. In the past, Knight Sorrow's high-grade array disks were the size of a human head. This time, the top-grade teleportation array disk was about the size of a millstone. Knight Sorrow tested it a few times and felt that it was relatively stable. Treasure, this array disk was definitely a treasure. It was a mobile inter-realm teleportation array. It was not something that could be created by ordinary artificers. With the teleportation array disk, Night Sorrow thought for a while and upgraded the Deathtrap array disk. Although the array disk's grade was lower, Night Sorrow used a refining method that was compatible with the array disk and increased the power of the Deathtrap array disk. After arranging the retreat route, Night Sorrow continued to advance. His target was the Heaven Desolate Mountain. The Heaven Desolate Mountain was a good place to comprehend and cultivate will and domain. However, due to the war and the natural barrier of the Nirvana Ocean, humans could no longer cultivate in the Heaven Desolate Mountain. It was too dangerous because they would be killed if they encountered the demon-winged race. The Heaven Desolate City had also sealed off the route to the Heaven Desolate Mountain. Night Sorrow was thrown out, which meant that he had a chance to reach the Heaven Desolate Mountain. However, he had to bear the risk of being discovered and killed by the demon-winged race. As he advanced, Night Sorrow's soul power was pushed to the maximum by the 9-domain origin bead. This way he could detect danger in advance. Even if an Emperor Realm expert from the demon-winged race came, Night Sorrow could retreat. He could enter the void turbulence or use the teleportation array disk. These were all life-saving methods. When he discovered ordinary beasts, Night Sorrow would avoid them as much as he could. Night Sorrow had no interest in hunting King Realm demonic beasts because they were not challenging. Of course, Night Sorrow would not be courteous if they were carrying precious materials. He would directly kill them. The distance between the Nirvana Ocean and the Heaven Desolate Mountain wasn't close. It was a few tens of millions of miles in a straight line. Every 10 million miles, Night Sorrow would set up an inter-realm teleportation array and change the teleportation crystal in the teleportation array disk. This was done to avoid having to run back to the starting point and then set off again for another tens of millions of kilometers if an opponent that they couldn't handle appeared. Of course, in the human world, tens of millions of miles was nothing. One could fly across it in 1 or 2 days. However, this was the infinite wasteland, an area not dominated by humans. They could not fly quickly. Night Sorrow felt that there was nothing wrong with being careful. It took Night Sorrow more than half a month to travel tens of millions of miles. Kate forever underscores to read our novels for free. The towering Mount Tianhuang was even more majestic and domineering than Sky Vault Cliff. It was full of flowing energy, and even the striped energy that Night Sorrow had seen in the void space in the Void Mountain appeared. There were not only 2 types of striped energy here but many types. In other words, it was the intersection of many types of energy. It was suitable for cultivators of various attributes to cultivate here. According to the records that Lin Piaomiao gave him, the Heaven Desolate Mountain was the dividing line between humans and demon-winged clan. This was the territory of the human race. Over the mountain was Tianhuang, which was ruled by the demon-winged clan. However, because humans did not come here, the entire Heaven Desolate Mountain was occupied by the demon-winged clan. The Heaven Desolate Mountain was closest to the Sky Vault Cliff. Although the energy was violent, it was very dense. No matter what attribute, one could find a suitable place to cultivate. As the sky approached the Heaven Desolate Mountain, Night Sorrow became even more cautious. Although the Heaven Desolate Mountain spanned tens of millions of miles, the possibility of encountering the Demon Wing clan was very high. It would be troublesome if he encountered an Emperor Realm Demon Wing clan. He had no backing, but the Demon Wing clan was different. They could send a message to their clan for support. Under such circumstances, Night Sorrow felt that finding a place to cultivate was the best way. Night Sorrow planned to break through his void domain first. His chi would enter the Emperor Realm. Then, his fighting strength would increase a lot. This was because the void domain and the spacetime domain had some similarities. In addition, Night Sorrow could advance his domain. His spacetime domain was a second-level domain. If his void domain entered the Emperor Realm, then he could use the void domain as the main force to advance his domain to the void spacetime domain. Its power would increase a lot. After entering the Heaven Desolate Mountain, Night Sorrow continued to fly, looking for a suitable place to cultivate. He continued to search for the existence of the Demon Wing clan. 4 hours later, Night Sorrow found the natural enemy of humans, the Demon Wing clan. They were a race with a single horn on their head and a pair of wings on their back. They were very talented. Their horn contained soul attacks, and the pair of wings on their back increased their speed. Because of their talent, the Demon Wing clan would not be at a disadvantage when fighting against humans of the same level. Chapter 17-18. The Demon Wings race's face was no different from a human's, but their bodies were sturdier and more powerful. They were filled with explosive energy. Night Sorrow was considering if he should kill the 2-star Monarch Realm Demon Wings race or take a detour. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow decided to give it a try. If there was a chance, he would kill. The Demon Wings race and the human race were natural enemies. In the past years, countless humans had died in the hands of the Demon Wings race. They could be said to be cannibals. Brandishing his reincarnation spear, he pierced through the spatial barrier. Night Sorrow entered the spatial turbulence and approached the Demon Wings race. When he was 20 Jianghu away from the Demon Wings race, Night Sorrow pierced through the spatial barrier and appeared. He didn't launch a sneak attack as he didn't have such thoughts. Although the human race and the Demon Wings race were natural enemies, Night Sorrow wanted to test the combat power of the Demon Wings race. When Night Sorrow appeared, the Demon Wings race stood up. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Human race, if you had the chance to launch a sneak attack, why didn't you do it? The Demon Wings race looked at Night Sorrow and asked. The battle saber that was placed on his knees was now in his hands. We have never met before and have no personal grudges. Why would I launch a sneak attack just because we are natural enemies? I don't think it's necessary, Night Sorrow said. All right. In that case, I won't inform my race. You and I will fight to determine the winner. Even if you run away, I won't inform my race to pursue you, the Demon Wings race man said as he waved his battle saber. All right. This is the first time I see a Demon Wings race man. Let's fight. I won't chase you even if you run. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear. Ah, very interesting. Come on. My name is Demon Throat. Demon Throat leaped up and slashed at Night Sorrow with his saber in both hands. Night Sorrow took a step forward with his right foot and thrust out his reincarnation spear. He didn't use any combat skills because Demon Throat didn't use any combat skills either. He relied on his physical strength to kill. Bang. With a muffled sound, Night Sorrow's feet sank into the ground. Everything below his knees could no longer be seen. One had to know that Night Sorrow had originally been standing on extremely hard green rock. It was obvious how strong the impact of this collision was. Devil Throat's body flew backward for over 100 feet before landing on the ground. His feet were deeply embedded in the green rock. Good. You are very strong. You are qualified to leave your name. Fiend Throat looked at Night Sorrow. My name is Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow exerted strength in his legs and leaped into the air. Then he bent and straightened his body like a bow. Brandishing his reincarnation spear, he smashed it toward Demon Throat. It would be impolite not to reciprocate. Yishang also wanted Demon Throat to test his physical strength. Elder Emperor Tang, Night Sorrow and the Demon Wing clan have started fighting. In the Tianhuang city, a diviner anxiously informed Emperor Tang. Emperor Tang was currently discussing matters with Lu Qi and Lin Piaomiao. Upon hearing this news, the three of them directly went to a hall. There was a group of diviners in the hall. At this moment, a diviner was divining the scene of Night Sorrow's battle. His opponent is called Demon Throat. This surname belongs to the royal family of the Demon Wing clan. Elder Zhai Xing, who was in charge of the divination, said, Demon Throat didn't retreat. Instead, his right leg took a step forward in the green rock. As the rock powder flew, he slashed at Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. Following the sound of an explosion, several cracks appeared in the space. This was the impact of the two's physical strength. Night Sorrow somersaulted and landed on the ground. His feet once again sank into the green rock. A pair of combat boots covered his calves. Due to the impact, the boots had already fallen to the bottom. On the other hand, Demon Throat was nowhere to be seen. He had been blasted into the ground by Night Sorrow's spear. As the ground trembled, Demon Throat rushed out from the ground. Night Sorrow didn't attack first, and neither did Demon Throat. He patted the gravel on his head with his left hand. The elders have always said that humans have weak bodies. So it was a lie. You're strong. Again. With a low roar, Demon Throat charged at Night Sorrow. The two of them began to fight again. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was wide open. Every time he attacked, he could repel Demon Throat. The area where the two of them were fighting shook the earth and mountains. Idiot. He clearly has the upper hand. Why didn't he use his ultimate move? This is the royal family of the Demon Wing clan. Emperor Tang roared. He's not an idiot. This is his first time fighting with the Demon Wing clan. Killing the enemy is secondary. He wants to know the background of the Demon Wing clan. Killing a member of the Demon Wing clan doesn't mean much to him. Besides, how did he know that it was the royal family of the Demon Wing clan? Lu Qi said. These are two ferocious beasts. This is a head-on battle without using true energy. Strange. Why didn't they use true energy? Another human clan elder who came to watch asked in confusion. The battle between them should be called a gentleman's battle. Night Sorrow had the opportunity to launch a sneak attack, but he didn't. Instead he chose to fight head-on. This Demon Wing clan member also promised not to inform his clan regardless of the outcome, Elder Zhai Xing said. First release of original version, isn't this pedantic? If we encounter a member of the Demon Wing clan we should kill them first. The human clan elder who asked the question said. Everyone be quiet and watch. Lu Qi waved his hand. Comfortable. We, the Demon Wing clan, have always been proud of our strong bodies. But today in a battle of bodies I, Demon Throat, have lost. Next, let's show off our abilities and see who's stronger. Demon Throat roared and then energy burst out from his body. This strength is equivalent to a 2-star emperor. Emperor Tang said. The other human clan elders who were watching did not say anything. They were all watching quietly, watching the battle between the human clan's younger generation and the Demon Wing clan. Night Sorrow's space-time domain burst out, and then charged towards Demon Throat. They were extremely fast. Night Sorrow and Demon Throat were both extremely fast, and the sky was filled with afterimages. Night Sorrow's space-time domain specialized in speed. Demon Throat's space-time domain focused on space and had a wind attribute. There was also a destructive aura in the middle. Coupled with the pair of demon wings on his back, his speed was extremely fast. The two of them fought with speed in mid-air. Then there was a collision of energy. Night Sorrow's space-time energy was not at a disadvantage against Demon Throat. At this moment, a black halo appeared on Demon Throat's horn. One ring after another, it pulsated rhythmically on the horn. Then 2 rings flew towards Night Sorrow. Space crack. Night Sorrow performed space crack. Then his body slid and he appeared behind the space crack's energy. When Demon Throat's soul attack was affected by the space crack, Night Sorrow's body flashed and went around the area of the space crack. Then 2 deep purple crescent blades flew out from his divine sea and slashed towards Demon Throat. At the same time the aura on the reincarnation spear disappeared. He performed the true dragon destruction art. Strength, speed and attack strength had been tested. Night Sorrow planned to end the battle now. With Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear as the point, the black halo rippled in all directions and shrouded Demon Throat. Demon Throat's expression changed. He released all the halos on his horn and attacked in all directions. Then he slashed at Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear with his battle blade. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was displayed again. His offensive technique changed to Void Return to Origin Kill. At the same time, energy burst out from his body, and a clone appeared behind Night Sorrow's original body. Bang! With a loud explosion, Demon Throat was sent flying by Night Sorrow's Void Return to Origin Kill. Chapter 17-19. And you're running away, right? Then I won't chase after you. Night Sorrow and his avatar merged into one again. Very good. You Night Sorrow will keep your word. I Devil Throat will not go back on my words. I won't inform my clansmen. I'll give you this cultivation treasure land. I'll come back 3 years later and cut you down with my blade. After giving Night Sorrow a glance, Devil Throat's body flashed and disappeared from Night Sorrow's line of sight. I won't kill you this time, but if you come again next time I won't be polite. Yishang muttered to himself as he looked at his surroundings. The spirit chi here was extremely dense. On the opposite mountain, there were constantly flickering energies that contained the will of many attributes. Night Sorrow's body soared into the sky as he continuously threw out the spiritual stones in his hand. The range was 100 miles. An hour later, a large compound illusion array was formed. After the array was set up, Night Sorrow took out the teleportation array disc. Looking at the shining teleportation crystal, he nodded in satisfaction. What's that thing? Elder Ling Shu, who came to watch, asked. At this time, many people had gathered in the divination hall. Qin Shenjie, Gu Qi and Elder Ling Shu were all present. It's a teleportation array disc. It's a top-grade teleportation array disc. It can be refined to the size of a millstone. How crude, Gu Qi said. Night Sorrow stood in the center of the illusion array. Looking around, he found that his vision was somewhat obstructed. After thinking for a moment, he stretched out his right hand and pointed forward. Clouds disperse. As Night Sorrow's right index finger flashed with golden light, the clouds in the sky dispersed. At the same time, the illusion array's effect was still present. Old bastards of the heavenly desolate city, even if you banish me, I can still snatch your territory and live a carefree life. Night Sorrow cursed and released the clear sky pagoda. After controlling the height of the 2 floors of the Clear Sky Pagoda, Night Sorrow left behind a doppelganger, while his main body flashed and sat cross-legged at the top of the pagoda. After telling Shao Kong to help him accelerate time, he started cultivating. At this time, the clairvoyant had run out of energy and stopped divining. The main reason was that Night Sorrow had called him an old bastard. This caused the clairvoyant's heart to tremble, causing his energy to become unstable and unable to continue divining. Absolute command. Elder Qi, that was the absolute command that only virtuous saints and above can use, right? Qin Shenjia looked at Lu Qi. That's right. I didn't think that I would become an old bastard now. This bastard really doesn't give me any face. However, his combat prowess is all around powerful, Lu Qi said. Everyone had seen the battle just now. Although there was no sound, everyone could clearly tell from the scene and the shape of the lips. The younger generation of the royal family of the Demon Wing clan has fallen into a disadvantageous position in a head-on confrontation with the younger generation of the human clan. This is a matter worthy of celebration. We have no choice but to take the blame for Elder Shao and Bai Chuyuan, Qin Shenjia said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, this bastard's survivability isn't a problem. He has an illusionary array and a teleportation array disc in his hand. He's prepared to run if things don't work out. It won't be easy for anyone to kill him, Lu Qi said. It's fine as long as he's safe. Just now, his original body was sitting at the top of the Dharma treasure tower. His body was shrouded in gray energy and his figure was almost invisible. Was that a time acceleration? Emperor Tang described the last scene he saw. It should be. We don't have to worry. He's living very freely. He himself said that he's just as carefree when it comes to snatching territory, Lu Qi said. This guy's attainments and array formations are also very deep. He's learning too many things. It's easy to delay his cultivation progress, Gu Qi said. His alchemy and refining skills are already at the emperor level. His attainments and array formations aren't low either. How can he stop at this level? A person like him has his own ideas. It's useless to persuade others. Elder Zhai Xing, you should pay more attention to him, Lu Qi said. Seeing Night Sorrow's situation, Lin Piaomiao felt relieved. However, she also admired Night Sorrow for scolding a human sect elder. One had to know that in the human race, no one dared to talk about a human sect elder. If there was any disrespect, they would be punished. Night Sorrow sat at the top of the Clear Sky Pagoda. He felt the void energy rolling on the mountain peak and began to comprehend. In the Clear Heaven Pagoda, although he couldn't accelerate time by 50 times with Shao Kong's help, he was able to accelerate time by 30 times. The cost of Saint Spirit Stones was nothing to Yi Shang, so it wasn't a big deal. While the main body cultivated, Night Sorrow's doppelganger pondered for a moment and began to refine array discs. He planned to leave this place for a walk. Therefore, he must have some self-protection measures. With successful examples, Night Sorrow could refine a top-grade transmission array disc without any difficulty. In just 2 days, Night Sorrow set up another transmission array beside the Clear Sky Pagoda. After the transmission crystal was embedded and the transmission array disc was tested, Night Sorrow set off. The environment of the Heaven Desolate Mountain was harsh. Those that could survive here were all high-level beasts and heavenly treasures. Although there were Demon Wings clan people, their civilization was low. Even if they had a cultivation civilization, they were different from humans. Therefore, as long as one searched, there would be opportunities. In addition, the beasts here also carried high-level materials. At the same time, Night Sorrow also knew that the Heaven Desolate Mountain was once a battlefield between humans and Demon Wings clan. Many giants fell there. If one could find a fallen giant, it would be an opportunity. As for whether the Demon Wings clan would beat him to it, that was impossible. Even if the human giants fell, they would have a backup plan. It was not something the Demon Wings clan could find. Night Sorrow walked forward. After walking for a while, the combat boots on his feet were the same as the main bodies. Only the boot cover was left on his calf. The main reason was that the blue stone under his feet was very sharp. After taking off the boot cover, Night Sorrow released a burst of true fire and burned it. The main reason was that he did not want to leave any traces. Walking barefoot, Night Sorrow directly killed any beasts he encountered. If there were any rare materials, he would not let them go to waste. All of them were stored in the storage ring. Time passed like this and Night Sorrow became sloppy. His hair tie was broken and his robes were tattered. He had been fighting all this time, so he didn't care about these things. Night Sorrow's aura cycled between restraint and sharpness. When restrained, it was more and more stable. When sharp, it was more and more overflowing with battle intent. Night Sorrow reorganized what he had learned in the past. Because of his tyrannical physical body, Night Sorrow picked up the heaven-covering hand and made it a commonly used combat skill again. A Tier 8 demonic beast, even if it was at the Heaven Monarch realm, couldn't withstand a slap from Night Sorrow's energy hand. Even the founder of the Medicine Valley, the Tianding King, could not imagine the power of the heaven-covering hand now. After killing an Emperor Tier Raging Flame Tiger, Night Sorrow packed up the materials and roasted the Raging Flame Tiger's hind leg. Taking out a jar of wine, he ate the tiger leg meat and looked at the rising moon. Night Sorrow was a little emotional. He had been out for a year, which meant that he had been exiled for a year. Chapter 1720. The doppelganger had trained for a year, but Night Sorrow's main body had spent 30 years with the help of the Clear Sky Pagoda. In the past 30 years, Night Sorrow's domain of nothingness had improved. His domain of spacetime had also improved. Now it had reached 15%, which meant that he had reached the middle stage of One-Star Emperor. The only regret was that his will of destruction was still stuck at a bottleneck. In the past year, Night Sorrow had collected a lot of materials. There were 6 horns of the Demon Wing race in his storage ring. The Demon Wing race knew that some of their people had died in the desolate mountain and had already started investigating. However, Night Sorrow's soul power was very strong. Whenever a high-level Demon Wing race member appeared, he would avoid them in advance. Pretty good. Isn't it just banishment? Emperor Lord, level 4 domain realm. 10 years or 100 years I can endure it. Night Sorrow muttered and continued drinking. Then he leaned against the tree and slept. Night Sorrow rested whenever he needed to. This bastard is eating and sleeping well now. A 2-star Emperor Raging Flame Tiger should taste good after roasting it. Lu Qi looked at Night Sorrow in the divination image and said, Seventh Elder, when he was organizing the materials last time, Zhai Xing saw 6 horns of the Demon Wing race. 5 of them had 2 round marks. They are 2-star Emperor rank. If he kills like this, he will be targeted by the Demon Wing race. Then he will be in great danger. Elder Zhai Xing said. He should have thought of this. He has a backup plan. This bastard has many trump cards. Lu Qi said. That's true. I saw him use the teleportation array disc twice to escape. He should have found an opponent that he can't deal with. Zhai Xing nodded. See, I was right. He is not stupid. It won't be that easy to kill this bastard. Lu Qi said with a smile. Seventh Elder, let's not be sarcastic. Look at what you have done to this child. What was he like before? He used to be an elegant young master. Now he is barefoot and his hair is not tied up. He looks like a beggar in a small world. Qin Qianjie said. That's right. He's the domain lord of a domain, a marquis of a region. He probably hasn't experienced such a situation before. Lin Piaomiao's heart ached a little. You women are so troublesome. Only a man with such experience can be considered a real man. After experiencing the baptism of loneliness, blood, and war, what can stop him in the future? Lu Qi said. All right. You really have a heart of stone. When he comes back, he will probably scold you in front of us. Qin Qianjie turned his head and looked to the side. Has he not scolded enough? Grand Elder Qin asked everyone who cared. If he wants to scold me, he can scold me all he wants. I don't care. Misty, how is the development of the forces under him? We tricked them, so how can we take good care of their nest? Lu Qi looked at Lin Piaomiao and asked. Now that he had brought Lin Piaomiao with him, he planned to help her ascend the throne. Therefore he was more casual with the way he addressed her. It is developing very smoothly. However, the people of Sky Peak Sector still on the move. They are constantly investigating the news of the Chaos Domain. They infiltrated 2 groups of people under Night Sorrow's command. However, they were eliminated by his subordinates. The strength of his companions has increased by leaps and bounds. However, they are still very hostile towards Tianhuang City. They told Night Sorrow's wife that they are not done with Tianhuang City. They will settle the score sooner or later. It was Misty and Night Sorrow's wife who comforted them a few times that they finally calmed down. Lin Piaomiao said. A bunch of audacious little fellows. We'll bear with it. If the Celestial Sect dares to mess around again, Misty, give them a ruthless lesson so that they'll remember, Lu Qi said. Grand Elder 7, the people around Night Sorrow are all very strong. Their backgrounds are also strange. Descendants of Green Rock, Nine-Tailed Fox, and one of Night Sorrow's elders. Of course, she is not even 1,000 years old. She is still very young. However, she has the Ice Phoenix bloodline. Lin Piaomiao said. When Lin Piaomiao said that, everyone was shocked. These were all heaven-defying races. Their bloodlines were very terrifying. Seems like the city lord already knew. We cannot let anything happen to these people. Lu Qi said. The people around this bastard are all very strong. What bloodline does he have? What he used last time seemed to be some kind of bloodline ability. However, it is hard to tell from the divination image. Emperor Tang said. Bastard was now the name of Night Sorrow in the human race's Grand Elder's mouth. Space attribute bloodline ability. After awakening his bloodline ability, he directly entered the Emperor realm. However, I'm not sure what it is exactly. Lin Piaomiao said after looking around and seeing that everyone was trustworthy. Does Grand Elder Qin know about this bloodline? Lu Qi looked at Qin Shenjia. I have not heard of it. Perhaps the city lord and the Grand Elder know about it. Qin Shenjia said. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, Night Sorrow had been in Tianhuang for 2 years. Night Sorrow's original body opened his eyes. The scene in his eyes flickered and turned into nothingness. For, after keeping the clear sky pagoda, Night Sorrow entered the teleportation formation and began to teleport. After teleporting a few times, Night Sorrow arrived at his stronghold at the Nirvana seaside. He then sat down cross-legged. He had no choice but to sit down because the divine wind of destruction and soul-extinguishing flame appeared around him. After cultivating for 2 years, Night Sorrow's domain of nothingness had finally reached 10% completion and reached the Emperor realm. Therefore, the divine wind of destruction and soul-extinguishing flame appeared again. After sitting down cross-legged, Night Sorrow endured the trials of wind and fire while comprehending the will of destruction. The tribulation of the Emperor realm was terrifying for others. However, for Night Sorrow, it was worth looking forward to because this was the opportunity for him to comprehend the will of destruction. The divination master in Tianhuang City saw the scene of Night Sorrow's body. Zhai Xing immediately sent people to inform the human race's Grand Elders and the law enforcement Grand Elders. It could be said that the human race's Grand Elders who had nothing to do in Tianhuang City were extremely interested in Night Sorrow's matter. This is a breakthrough. Emperor Tang said. What kind of aptitude is this? He has only been exiled for 2 years. At that time he had just entered the 1-star Emperor realm. To have such progress is truly terrifying. Gu Qi said with some emotion. He didn't advance to 2-star Emperor realm. It's another attribute. Lu Qi narrowed his eyes. He could tell from the purple light that enveloped Night Sorrow's body. It was the light of the domain of nothingness that leaked out when Night Sorrow couldn't perfectly control his aura after advancing. After 2 days, Night Sorrow made a move. He placed his left hand on his dantian and his right hand on his chest. His index finger flickered with golden light as he said, Divine wind of destruction, strengthen. As the Merit Half-Emperor's words were used, the divine wind of destruction on Night Sorrow's body intensified and began to revolve around Night Sorrow. Chapter 1721. Half a day later, the godly wind of destruction and soul-extinguishing flame dispersed, and Night Sorrow stood up. Night Sorrow shook the tattered battle robe on his body and took a step forward. He stretched his arms behind him and took out a jar of wine. After drinking 2 mouthfuls, he began to practice his spear techniques. With the support of the Nihility domain, Night Sorrow's Nihility returning to Origin Kill and Nihility Extreme Point Kill alternated. Wherever the tip of the spear passed, the space was filled with holes and spider patterns. The Great Emperor Reincarnation Slash was mixed in with the spear technique. Since when did the space of infinite wasteland become so fragile? Elder Ling Shu muttered. It's not that the spatial barrier is weak. It's just that his attacks are strong enough to destroy space. The Grand Elder appeared with the coiling dragon silver spear in hand. Less than W*. The elders who had been watching all cupped their hands in greeting to the Grand Elder. After cultivating for an hour, Night Sorrow's spear technique changed again. It became a spear technique of destruction energy. His spear technique was the true dragon annihilation of destruction. Every thrust of his spear would pierce a small hole in space. This was the power of the spiral-piercing energy. After practicing the extermination true dragon kill for a while, Night Sorrow performed the Great Death Annihilation Slash. Although the Great Death Obliteration Slash was not as powerful as the True Dragon Annihilation Slash or the Great Emperor Samsara Slash, its power had increased greatly with the advancement of Night Sorrow's spacetime attribute. What the hell is this bastard cultivating? Seeing Night Sorrow's attributes for the first time, Lu Qi was a little surprised. This is the death energy he cultivated using the death attribute treasure, the yellow spring stone. He hasn't succeeded yet, but he has a unique skill that can affect souls and space. Lin Xian'er said. She had seen Night Sorrow use the Great Death Slash on the Blood Battle platform, so she understood. This bastard's foundation is deep enough. Throwing him into Tianhuang was the right choice. Slowly squeeze him out and his potential will come out, Lu Qi said. Seventh Sect Elder, if he hears what you just said he might scold you, Qin Qianjie said. It doesn't matter. He keeps calling me an old bastard. I'm numb to it. Lu Qi said. Seventh Elder, you're thinking too much. He should be scolding the two people who tricked him, not the elders of our human race. Lin Piaomiao explained for Night Sorrow. Misty, you don't have to explain for him. Regarding the matter of him being banished, it is indeed our Tianhuang city that has wronged him. So what if he scolds us? It really doesn't matter. Lu Qi said with a smile. After cultivating his spear art for a while, Night Sorrow's main body sat on the teleportation array and returned to the stronghold he had snatched from Demon Throat in the Mount Tianhuang to continue cultivating. Currently, there were more and more complicated things he needed to cultivate. He needed to fuse and deepen his understanding of the two domains. In addition, he also needed to comprehend the destructive force. At the same time, Night Sorrow's clone in the Heaven Sealing Hall also went into seclusion and began to deduce the fusion of the Nihility domain and the spacetime domain. Yishang was well aware of the fact that he had to turn his achievements into strength. Demon Throat had left behind a 3-year agreement, and there was only 1 year left. Night Sorrow naturally took this matter to heart. He had killed a few 2-star emperors of the Demonic Wing clan, and there was a gap between them and Demon Throat. Therefore he knew that Demon Throat wasn't simple. Last time, both sides were probing each other. It was hard for Night Sorrow to say if Demon Throat had any ultimate moves because the 2-star Demonic Wing clan he killed all had their ultimate moves. Fortunately, his body and soul were flawless. Night Sorrow's clone's training was still ongoing, but there were fewer battles. This was because he spent most of his time studying the fusion of domains. He wanted to cultivate the Nihility spacetime domain. Often he would stay for half a month to cultivate. Night Sorrow's aura went from reserved to sharp, but there was an additional aura of loneliness and vicissitudes. In Tianhuang City, Lin Piaomiao was holding the information scrolls sent from various places, but her eyes were a little erratic. Piaomiao, what's wrong? Lu Qi looked at Lin Piaomiao. I wonder how Night Sorrow is doing now. No matter how strong he is still young. Training alone in the Demonic Wing clan's territory must be very stressful, Lin Piaomiao said. It's fine. Don't worry too much. To be able to cultivate to the Emperor realm, he must be very determined. He won't be defeated by this. If there's really a problem, I will report it to the Grand Elder, Lu Qi said. Thank you, Seventh Elder. I'm just a little worried. It's nothing, Lin Piaomiao sighed. Piaomiao, you've been alone for many years. Don't you have a suitable partner? Lu Qi closed the scrolls in his hands. No. I've been cultivating in seclusion. I haven't thought about this, Lin Piaomiao said after being stunned for a moment. You can consider it. You're still young and have a long road ahead of you. If you have a suitable partner, it will be good for your life and your future, Lu Qi said. Seventh Elder, why do you say this? Cultivators don't care about this, right? Most of the people in Tianhuang City don't have a partner. Lin Piaomiao's originally white face blushed. Not really. They all had partners before, but they were all young. Some of their partners didn't cultivate to the 8th rank, some died in battle. They weren't strong enough and there were many other reasons. So in the end they died alone. Being alone is the price to pay for choosing the wrong partner. You're different. At your level, the Tao companion you choose should be able to go far. Lu Qi exhaled and said. What about you, Seventh Elder? Lin Piaomiao asked. I was young back then. I got married when I was a venerable. She was just an ordinary person. I knew it was fated to be a short happiness. But because I loved her, I married her. In reality, happiness and happiness are short, but I don't regret it. Life should be exciting and unyielding. Otherwise I'll become a walking corpse. Lu Qi's eyes were filled with nostalgia. Piaomiao understands. If it were up to Piaomiao, I would do the same. Lin Piaomiao looked at Lu Qi and said. She didn't know much about Lu Qi, but now she admired him. After my wife died, it was the beginning of my rise in life. Extreme emotions can only be extreme Tao. If you have emotions in your heart, it's the emotional Tao. If you have no emotions in your heart, it's the heartless Tao. Lu Qi said. Seventh Elder, you? Lin Piaomiao didn't know how to continue. It used to be the heartless Tao. After my wife died, my heart became heartless, so I cultivated the heartless slaughter Tao. Later on I comprehended it. Because countless years have passed, my wife is still in my heart. She is living in a different way, so I switched to the Tao of emotions. Fortunately, I have achieved some success. Lu Qi smiled. Thank you, Seventh Elder. I understand. Lin Piaomiao nodded. Chapter 1722. Leaving Lin Piaomiao to ponder, Lu Qi left the room. He wanted to give Lin Piaomiao some time to think. Lu Qi was the youngest among the human race's law enforcement elders. He was even younger than the ordinary elders. However, he had experienced a lot, and all of it was the accumulation of life. This could not be described by age. A person who had lived for 100 million years in a muddle-headed manner would not have experienced the wonderful life of a 100-year-old. Lu Qi was the perfect example. Lu Qi saw Lin Piaomiao's worry and nervousness towards Night Sorrow, so he reminded her. He felt that Lin Piaomiao only had two choices. Either she had feelings or she was heartless. Otherwise, Night Sorrow would be her weakness. As an emperor, Lin Piaomiao naturally understood some things. Originally, the onlooker saw the game more clearly than the person directly involved. But after Lu Qi said that, she understood the choice she had to make. But this choice was difficult. She really admired Night Sorrow. As for Night Sorrow's current situation, she was indeed worried and worried. But whether she really liked him or not, she didn't know. Cut off her feelings? If it was in the past, she could do it. But after seeing Night Sorrow's harmonious family, she also yearned for that kind of life. No one wanted to be alone for the rest of their life. No one wanted to live a muddle-headed life. If you asked if she liked Night Sorrow, Lin Piaomiao wasn't sure. But even if she liked him, there were many problems. Did Night Sorrow like her? Night Sorrow also had a family. She saw how harmonious Night Sorrow's family was. She reached out and patted her forehead. Lin Piaomiao knew that she was facing a difficult situation. But she had to wait and see. She couldn't make a decision for now. What's wrong? You're having a headache. I knew it. Come have a cup of tea and calm down. Lu Qi came back with a smile and made tea. Elder 7 is right. Piaomiao is facing some problems. But I can't make a decision for now. Lin Piaomiao wasn't a bashful person. She would say whatever she wanted. She wouldn't say anything that wasn't true. Sigh. Silly girl, the answer is actually very obvious. If you don't have any ideas with your personality, you will immediately make a decision. Once you have an idea, then don't hesitate. Lu Qi came up with a new conclusion. Seventh Elder, can we not be so wise and far-sighted? It's making Misty Meow feel a little embarrassed. Lin Misty Meow was surprised because what Lu Qi said made sense. But she did feel a little embarrassed. Ah, then let's not talk about it anymore. Now that you've made your decision, your troubles no longer exist. I'm happy for you. A smile appeared on Lu Qi's face. Lin Piaomiao knew that it was difficult for Lu Qi to smile. In front of her, there was no such thing as an iron face. In front of others, Lu Qi was the iron face and emotionless disciplinary elder. I wonder when that bastard Night Sorrow will be able to meet the City Lord's requirements. It won't be easy for him to survive the Nirvana tide. It's too difficult for him to become an imperial emperor in such a short time. Hurry up and come back. Perhaps something good is waiting for you, Lu Qi said as he sipped his tea. This bastard already has several wives. Lin Piaomiao said. At this moment, Night Sorrow had also become a bastard in her eyes because Night Sorrow had already disturbed her state of mind. Several? Then one more won't matter. Lu Qi's words were very direct. Lin Piaomiao didn't say anything. If she continued, who knew what this wise Lu Qi would say that would make her feel embarrassed? Night Sorrow had been nervously cultivating every day. With the help of the clear sky pagoda and the ability to seize the fortune of heaven and earth, he always maintained a clear mind. His comprehension of the power of heaven and earth was very fast. His mastery of the spacetime domain was improving. The nihility domain and destruction domain were also improving. Why was it the destruction domain? Because Night Sorrow had cultivated the destruction battle intent before his destruction will had reached perfection. The moment he comprehended the power of heaven and earth, he formed the destruction domain. Of course, his mastery was still very shallow. While his main body was cultivating, Night Sorrow's two clones were quickly deducing the domain fusion. The nihility spacetime domain gradually took shape, and it only took half a year. Night Sorrow's combat strength was also rapidly increasing. Every time after deducing the domain fusion, Night Sorrow would test the domain's power in actual combat. _Xing, Version ZA first released. The difference between the Nihility spacetime domain and the spacetime domain was that it changed from a defensive and supportive type to both offensive and defensive type. The spacetime domain's support was speed, movement and attack speed. Its defense was to slow down the opponent's attack speed. Its spatial overlap was to reduce the opponent's attack strength. The Nihility spacetime domain had a suppressive effect. After the domain shook, the energy in the area it enveloped would become aggressive. It was a large-scale attack and weakening effect. With the help of the Light of Virtue, Night Sorrow's domain had already become a level 3 mutated domain. Its suppression of negative attributes was even stronger. It had a powerful weakening effect. Night Sorrow was very satisfied with his comprehension. He even looked forward to whether he could return when Demon Throat came knocking on his door half a year later. Confidence. Night Sorrow never lacked confidence in himself. After 2.5 years, Night Sorrow's strength had undergone an earth-shattering change. It was the same for his image. His battle robe was already damaged in many places and he was barefoot. He looked like a young master who had run away from home. The main reason was that Night Sorrow wasn't prepared in this regard. He didn't care about this in an area where there were few people. Every time she watched Night Sorrow in the divination scene with the other human sect elders, Lin Piaomiao's heart ached. Night Sorrow shouldn't have to endure this. It was all Bai Chuyuan's fault. Her killing intent towards Bai Chuyuan grew stronger and stronger. He's already a level 3 domain. His other domain is also in its embryonic form. It looks like he will first attain a level 4 domain before becoming an Imperial Lord, said Qin Qianjia. For the past 2 years, the human sect elders had been paying attention to Night Sorrow's situation. Every time the divination master performed a divination, most of the human sect elders would come to watch. Therefore, everyone knew about Night Sorrow's situation. Everyone nodded in agreement with Qin Qianjia's opinion. It took a long time for an emperor to become an Imperial Lord. It required constant comprehension and deduction of the world's momentum. Each step was harder than the last. Currently, Night Sorrow's third attribute domain had already taken shape. Could even be said that he could fuse it now. However, everyone knew that Night Sorrow wouldn't do so. Under normal circumstances, ordinary Emperor Realm cultivators would cultivate one attribute first. When it was difficult to improve, or when their potential was exhausted, they would choose to study other attributes to increase the power of their domain. This kind of research could even be said to not be able to cultivate a domain. After all, talent was limited. The compatibility between attributes and oneself wasn't high. Cultivating to the Emperor Realm to form a domain was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. However, at level 8, with willpower, one could fuse with a domain. However, in terms of power, it would be different from a fully formed domain. There would be flaws and the level wouldn't be the same. In terms of power, it would be different from a perfect fusion. Night Sorrow's fusion of 2 domains was a perfect domain advancement. Although this bastard is a little slow, he's taking the most correct path. Commander Lin, if you have time, please remind him not to take the wrong path. Otherwise, the gains won't make up for the losses, said Emperor Tang. Chapter 1723. In these 2 years, Night Sorrow's 2 doppelgangers had been trying their best to fuse their domains, but his main body's comprehension of domains was also very effective. 1 year after entering Infinite Wasteland Domain, Yi Shang had perfected his domain of nothingness and entered the Emperor Realm. He had comprehended 15% of his domain of time and space. In the following 1.5 years, with the help of the Clear Sky Pagoda, Yi Shang had cultivated for close to 50 years. With the help of the Clear Sky Pagoda, Night Sorrow's mind was always clear. His comprehension of the spacetime domain had reached 18%. At the late stage of the 1-star Emperor Realm, his comprehension of the spacetime domain had also reached 12%. His comprehension of the destruction domain was also not bad, reaching 40%. If he was in Misty Imperial Court or Star Moon Lake, Night Sorrow wouldn't have to work so hard. But now he had to. If he didn't work hard, he wouldn't be able to step on the path home. On this day, Night Sorrow was moving forward. Suddenly, he felt that something was wrong because the environment around him was repeating. He had fallen into an array. This caused Night Sorrow's heart to jump. For him to unknowingly fall into an array, what level was this array? The images that his soul force detected were all fake. They were all the same things that were going back and forth. Even his soul force detection was ineffective. Night Sorrow calmed down. There had to be a reason for this. It was either an opportunity or a crisis. Since the detection was fake, Night Sorrow withdrew his soul force detection to prevent illusions from interfering with his judgment. Night Sorrow sat down cross-legged and began to sense the changes in the energy around him. The key to the operation of an array was the energy circulation path. Night Sorrow wanted to analyze what kind of array it was. Was it the work of the ancient sages of humanity? Was it an array set up by the devil-winged race? Or was it a natural array? However, Night Sorrow knew that he had gotten himself into trouble. Could be a good thing or a bad thing. Lin Piaomiao, who was overseeing Misty Imperial City Lord Mansion, pondered for a moment before coming to Night Moon Manor. Datura was currently staying in the Night Moon Manor because he had businesses to manage. In addition, the God-slaying team was also in the Night Moon Manor. Of course, the one who arrived at the Night Moon Villa was Lin Xian'er and not Lin Piaomiao. Lin Xian'er and Datura sat in the pavilion drinking tea. Big Sister Xian'er, did something happen to Night Sorrow? Seeing that Lin Xian'er did not speak, Datura was a little anxious. No, although Night Sorrow's days have been a little tough, everything is fine. I do have some things but I don't know how to say them. Let me calm down for a while and organize my words, Lin Xian'er said. It's fine as long as Night Sorrow is fine. Sister Xian'er, if there's anything you need, feel free to tell me. Datura filled the teacup in front of Lin Xian'er. It's like this, I've encountered a tribulation. If I don't resolve it, a flaw will appear in my mental state. Lin Xian'er looked at Datura. Sister Xian'er, please tell me. I'll see if I can help you, although the possibility is very small. Datura's expression changed. She knew that Lin Xian'er was the ethereal combat emperor, the top of the celestial demon list. Now that she had encountered a tribulation, it was a big problem. It's a choice between the emotional path and the heartless path. Either resolve the problem or be heartless and cut off all feelings. Lin Xian'er looked at Datura and said, Sister Xian'er, you? Datura looked at Lin Xian'er with some surprise. She somewhat understood. She was a warlord of the world of reincarnation. Since Lin Xian'er said this in front of her, she naturally understood. You're right, it's like this. I've lived for half an era. My family is only an ordinary one in the celestial realm. We've always been facing war. I've seen the ancestors of my family often fall in protecting the family. I swear that as long as I'm alive, I'll dominate the world and become a peerless empress. For this dream, my world only has the word, cultivation. As my family members disappeared one after another in the long river of time, I became numb. I've even been in a daze. The world has no color, it's just black and white. I have no friends, only a family member. Song Ning and I gradually drifted apart. I originally thought that this would continue, but it wasn't like that. After giving Datura a definite answer, Lin Xian'er stood up and muttered to herself. Datura was a little stunned. This news was like a bomb. I'm not sure when it started. Perhaps it started when Qingyan and the other children called me Aunt, or when I often saw the diviners in the heavenly desolate city. If he's not doing well, I'll be heartbroken. If he's in danger, I'll be worried. After saying this, Lin Xian'er closed her eyes. She wanted to hear what Datura had to say. If Datura didn't like it and the beginning didn't go well, then she would choose another path. She couldn't do something like being jealous. Sister Xian'er, have a seat. Listen to me first. Datura nodded to Lin Xian'er. Lin Xian'er lifted her skirt and sat down. When it comes to love, no one can control it. Night Sorrow currently has 5 wives. I'm the last one. In fact, at the beginning, my methods weren't honorable. I even forced him, so I didn't have the right to speak. Night Sorrow, let's not talk about him first. Even if he has strong feelings in his heart, he will restrain himself. He respects the opinions of his family members. And in our Yi family, the one who has the biggest impact on this matter is Chuyu. Although no one said it and she doesn't have a real status, Chuyu is Night Sorrow's first woman. She is recognized as the legal wife by everyone. Yang Lei Aoi and Xueshi all respect her. Datura said. Not his parents? Lin Xian'er asked. No. Father and mother don't care about these things. The Yi family's ancestors have always been monogamous. Father dislikes this, but he definitely won't refute mother's words. Mother naturally wants to have a lot of children and grandchildren. Datura said. At this moment, she realized that being a woman of the Yi family was very fortunate. No matter how strong the men of the Yi family were outside at home, the women had the final say. So it's like this. What about you? What do you think? Lin Xian'er asked. I know. I'm not a petty woman. Datura said with a smile. The first stage went smoothly. It was as depressing as a big battle. Lin Xian'er said with a sigh. Sister Xian'er is nervous too? Datura felt strange. She didn't dislike Night Sorrow having another woman because Night Sorrow loved her enough. However, she also felt a little sad. However, she couldn't say this because Lin Xian'er had helped Night Sorrow a lot. It was a natural feeling, much purer than her feelings in the past. Yes. It's not wrong to pursue your own happiness, but we are friends. This is a betrayal of friends. I don't want to lose you as a friend. Lin Xian'er said. No, I'll talk to Chuyu, Yang Lei, Aoi and Xueshi later. I won't talk to Night Sorrow for the time being. This matter has been decided by Chuyu and the others. It's almost a done deal. Datura said. Although she felt a little sad, she didn't want to make things difficult for Lin Xian'er. Lin Xian'er's words resonated strongly with her. Although she was a peerless empress, her heart was lonely and it wasn't easy. Chapter 1724. From the point of view of protecting your feelings, I won't refute your idea because the answer you got from Night Sorrow was definitely rejection. He cares about his wife's happiness the most and doesn't want to make her unhappy, Datura said. Then why are you telling me? Lin Xian'er asked. Because I love him and hope that everything will go well for him. You can help him even more, Datura said. Is your love very noble? Lin Xian'er looked at Datura and her heart was shaken. She even felt that she was a little shameless. If you really love him, you would be the same. Let's change the topic. How is Night Sorrow now? Datura asked about Night Sorrow's situation. Lin Xian'er told Datura about Night Sorrow's current situation. By Chuyuan, that bastard. He tricked Night Sorrow. This matter isn't over yet. Datura's face was full of murderous intent. She was almost done refining Datura Chinensis' source energy and could enter the Emperor realm at any time. Aluo, you don't have to worry about this. The law enforcement elder of the human race looked for me and asked me not to do anything for the time being and wait for Night Sorrow to return. I will take care of him, Lin Xian'er said. But there is one more question. You are the ethereal battle Empress Lin Piaomiao. Is it appropriate for me to still call you Sister Xian'er? Datura asked. In front of my friends I am Lin Xian'er. I will have to trouble you to help me with some things. I will go to the 9-domain world to look for Night Sorrow and ask him about his cultivation problems. The law enforcement elder of the Tianhuang city doesn't want him to take the wrong path, Lin Xian'er said. Alright, go ahead. Datura nodded. Lin Xian'er left and Datura slapped her forehead. She knew that she really had to help. First of all, she could empathize with Lin Xian'er's situation. She couldn't make things difficult for Lin Xian'er. Besides having one more person in the family, it wasn't a big deal. If he refused, it would be the same as hurting Lin Xian'er. That would be too heartless. Lin Xian'er arrived at the teleportation array but was unable to teleport because Night Sorrow had restricted the use of the teleportation array. Sensing Lin Xian'er's aura, Night Sorrow's clone in the heaven-sealing Great Hall let her through. Night Sorrow went to the tea house next to the City Lord's mansion to wait. A moment later, Lin Xian'er arrived at the tea house and sat opposite Night Sorrow. Sister Xian'er is here. The tea is ready. Night Sorrow pointed at the teapot in front of him. You seem to be in a pretty good condition. Lin Xian'er looked at Night Sorrow, her heart feeling a little different. Not bad. Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. After that, Lin Xian'er told Night Sorrow a little about the key points of domain fusion. She told Night Sorrow that no matter how difficult it was now, he could not casually carry out domain fusion, because the fusion between Emperor-grade domains was perfect. These bastards, they actually used divination to watch me? Then they should know that I scolded them. I don't care, they have already exiled me, what can they do to me? When I come back, I will go back to Starmoon City to be the city lord and the domain master of the 9-domain world. Sister Xian'er, if you have nothing to do, come over and have tea with me. Night Sorrow said. Then can I live in Sky City in the 9-domain world in the future? Lin Xian'er asked with a smile. You are most welcome. Night Sorrow nodded. That's good. If your family and your wife don't mind, I will go. Alright, I will go back first. Lin Xian'er stood up. You're in such a hurry? Yishan also stood up. What's wrong? Could it be that you can't bear to let Sister Xian'er go? Lin Xian'er turned around and looked at Night Sorrow as she threw out a sentence. Night Sorrow was stunned and his face turned red. Sister Xian'er, help me find some high-level array diagrams. Night Sorrow called out to Lin Xian'er, who was about to enter the teleportation array. Zijing's S edition. Lin Xianer nodded at Night Sorrow and smiled again. Then she entered the teleportation array and left the 9-domain world. Datura also returned. After greeting Night Sorrow, he returned to Sky City and called Sikong Chuyu and the others for a family meeting. Yi Qingyan and Yin Yanxiao were also present. Datura couldn't persuade them to leave. Alright. You two listen in, but it's best if you don't express any opinions. Chuyu, you two should make the decision on this matter. Datura said. And Aluo, what's the matter? Why are you being so mysterious? Yi Qingyan leaned on the table and asked Datura. That's right. What's the matter? You want the sisters-in-law to sit together and discuss? Could it be that my brother has a mistress outside? You want to sit together and judge? That must be it. Why don't you let me and Qingyan listen? Yin Yanxiao said. Don't talk nonsense. You don't understand your brother's world at all. However, this matter is indeed related to a woman. Datura said. 13 shouldn't? Yang Lei frowned. He doesn't know about this matter. Datura shook his head and then told her about Lin Xianer. Father is so overbearing now. Isn't Aunt Xianer the #1 on the Celestial Realm's Celestial Demon list? Is it because my father hangs out with her every day? Father hasn't returned to Sky City for nearly 3 years. Yi Qingyan muttered after a moment of surprise. Nonsense. You don't know what your father has been enduring for the past 3 years. Datura glared at Yi Qingyan. She wouldn't allow Yi Qingyan to not understand Night Sorrow's situation. Big sister Luo, did something happen to Night Sorrow? Sikong Chuyu stood up. She knew that Datura wouldn't say this for no reason. Night Sorrow didn't want you to worry, so he didn't want me to say anything. It seems that I can't hide it anymore. Let's talk about it. He was exiled by the human race's sect elder and is no longer in the celestial realm. Datura sighed and then told them everything that had happened in the past 2.5 years. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have doubted my father. Yi Qingyan's eyes reddened. Big sister Xianer is our friend. There's nothing between her and Night Sorrow. She also helped Night Sorrow without holding back. Datura said. Is she sincere enough? Yang Lei asked. Yes. She's the peerless empress of the celestial realm. She wouldn't be able to tell me this without great courage. In addition, Night Sorrow and our Xingyue Lake family have taken great care of him. Sikong Chuyu said. Chuyu, you don't have any objections? Yang Lei looked at Sikong Chuyu and asked. If a bad woman wants to marry into our family, I definitely won't agree. However, Lin Xianer obviously isn't one. She can live alone for countless years. Her moral integrity is definitely not a problem. 6th senior sister, 9th senior sister, Sister Shueshi, what do you think? Sikong Chuyu looked at the others and asked. I don't care. I'm going to see 13 now. He suffered again. Yang Lei's eyes were filled with tears. Don't go yet. Night Sorrow just doesn't want everyone to worry. Datura pulled Yang Lei, who had stood up, to sit down beside him. I don't object. In fact, the main difficulty lies with 13. He values our family very much and cares about our feelings. Therefore, it's very likely that he will refuse. Alway thought for a moment and said. Chapter 1725. That's right. That's too cruel. What do you think, Shueshi? Sikong Chuyu looked at Shueshi. I have no objections. As long as it doesn't affect the harmony of the family, everything is fine, Shueshi said. It seems that you've reached a consensus, Sikong Chuyu said. Auntie, are you ignoring my father's opinion? Yi Qingyan looked at Sikong Chuyu and asked. Are you stupid? Your father is very close to her. We don't know if he likes her or not, but he wouldn't hate her, right? So that's how it is. Sister Luo, do as you see fit. Sikong Chuyu made the decision. Father has taken all the good women in the world, Yi Qingyan said, pursing her lips. If you say any more nonsense, I'll slap you, Always said, waving her hand. However, Yi Qingyan just stuck out her tongue. After sending Lin Xianer off, Yi Shang's clone in the heaven-sealing Great Hall went back to cultivate. He had been cultivating intensely recently. It was only when Lin Xianer had come that the teleportation crystal had reacted that he had come out of the heaven-sealing Great Hall. Sikong Chuyu and the others didn't see Night Sorrow when they arrived at Nine Regions City. Datura had taken the teleportation array to the celestial realm. Sikong Chuyu and the others could only wait for Night Sorrow to come out of seclusion before discussing the matter. After returning to the Night Moon Villa, Datura saw Lin Xianer. Lin Xian'er was sitting in the waterside pavilion of the Night Moon Villa, but she was a little distracted. Sister Xian'er, you're really distracted, Datura said. A little. It's mainly because I've never experienced something in the past, so I'm a little confused, Lin Xian'er said. I went back and told them. They were very generous and didn't reject you. They were willing to accept you. However, we didn't see Night Sorrow when we arrived at Nine Region City, Datura said. Aluo, it's been hard on you. I'm the one who wants to steal your man, yet I still need your help. Lin Xian'er sighed. Originally in this world, it was men who chased after women relentlessly. However, things have changed when it comes to us. Our conditions and looks aren't bad, right? But you insisted on delivering yourself to him. I did it and so did you. It's all Ye's fault, Datura said with a smile. You say that, but your face is full of happiness. Is little Luo still cultivating with his master? Lin Xian'er asked. Datura nodded. Yes, the children at home are all running around. But as long as they don't leave the Chaos Realm, there should be no problem with their safety. I'm very envious of you. When I saw your harmonious family during Night Sorrow's coronation ceremony, I was very envious. There is almost no such complete and harmonious family in the Celestial Realm. Lin Xian'er was very happy because it was relatively smooth. To her, this matter was like fighting a war or even more difficult than fighting a war. I fought for it. At that time I felt that it was time for marriage, so I tricked Night Sorrow. Datura smiled and told her about his relationship with Night Sorrow. Without courage, how can you get happiness? Lin Xian'er looked at Datura and said. She felt that Datura's situation was similar to hers. Actually, Night Sorrow is also a sentimental person, but he will hide it. If he likes me in his heart, he will not say it. Would you believe me if I said that he had no feelings for me at that time? Datura said with a smile. He definitely has feelings for you. Lin Xian'er nodded. Yes, but he is very strict with himself. He wants to be a good husband and doesn't want to disappoint his family. Datura said his evaluation of Night Sorrow. I understand. Don't worry about Night Sorrow's situation. If there is any danger, I will go and find him. Lin Xian'er nodded at Datura. He will be your man in the future. You decide for yourself. Datura directly left the matter of Night Sorrow to Lin Xian'er. Lin Xian'er left and returned to the city lord's mansion. After thinking for a while, she felt that she should marry Cangning off first. The Lin Xian'er who had put on the veil was Lin Piaomiao. She sent someone to summon Wufeng and Cangning to the city lord's residence. The meeting place was Cangning's courtyard in the city lord's mansion. Greetings to the War Emperor. Wufeng and Cangning cupped their hands and bowed. I'm meeting you here to discuss private matters. Wufeng, isn't it inappropriate for you to be like this? As a man, if you don't speak, you'll make Cangning wait? Lin Xian'er went straight to the point. Wufeng and Cangning were stunned by Lin Xian'er's words. Miss? Cangning wanted to explain on behalf of Wufeng but was interrupted by Lin Xian'er. Don't say anything. Let him speak today. My lord, it's like this. Wufeng is suffering from the cold poison and is not suitable for marriage. As soon as the problem is solved, I will propose marriage. Wufeng said. Cold poison. That's not a problem. When Night Sorrow enters the Merit Emperor realm, he can help you deal with the cold poison at any time. Within 3 days, I will wait for your proposal at the city lord's mansion. There's no rush to get married. Let's settle it first. Cangning, be more reserved. Lin Xian'er made a series of decisions. The main reason was that her mood was unstable today. Because she was no longer reserved, she vented her anger on Wufeng and Cangning. Wufeng understands. I'll take my leave. Wufeng bowed and left the courtyard. Cangning, stop right there. What's wrong? It's as if our Lin family's women can't get married. Lin Xian'er shouted at Cangning, who was about to leave. Cangning stood there obediently. But after glancing at Lin Xian'er, he turned his head away. We're the only 2 women in the Lin family. You're not even married yet. What are you saying? If you want to speak, speak louder. I'll marry you off first, then talk about me. I'll work hard to marry myself off. Lin Xian'er said. Miss, what did you just say? Cangning didn't hear it clearly. You want to marry yourself off? You still need to work hard? Cangning rubbed his ears hard. Seeing you annoys me. Hurry up and leave. Lin Xian'er chased him away. After leaving the courtyard, Cangning looked at the lintel of the courtyard and realized that this was his courtyard. But he was the one being chased out. He rubbed his ears again to make sure he didn't hear wrong. But he didn't understand what was going on. After pondering for a moment, Song Ning left. I'm going to get married anyway. It doesn't matter if I'm reserved or not. It's all the same. Night Sorrow was still training every day to increase his battle strength. He had researched and evolved the heaven-covering hand into two forms. One was the heaven-covering hand of nothingness. Under the attack of a huge energy palm, anything that couldn't withstand the attack would be annihilated. It was extremely domineering. The other form was the heaven-covering hand of glass. It used the light of virtue to activate the strength of the body. When the palm struck out, the energy palm was like glass, filled with a mighty aura. Chapter 1726. Night Sorrow's clone was still trapped in the array. Even the teleportation array disk had lost its effectiveness. Due to the interference of the array, the teleportation array disk and the teleportation array could not be used. Night Sorrow knew that it would be difficult to get out without breaking the array. However, he had never even heard of this array before, let alone seen it. How could he break it? He could only study it slowly and wait for Lin Xin to find some array diagrams for him to cultivate. Night Sorrow's heart trembled when he thought of Lin Xin's words after she left. Lin Xin, who had a slight blush on her face, was so beautiful that it made one's heart tremble. At that moment, the fortune teller in the Tianhuang city began to perform the divination again. Many human clan elders came to watch, and even the Grand Elder came. When they noticed Night Sorrow's situation, everyone was stunned. What's going on? Elder Zhaixing asked. He's trapped by the array, Guqi said. He was an Imperial Master Blacksmith and naturally an Imperial Master Array Dao, so he could tell. Night Sorrow moved around and threw spirit stones around, trying to change the structure of the array and make it lose its effectiveness. However, 2 hours passed and he threw out 2,000 Saint Spirit stones, but the array was still working. Night Sorrow leaned against a tree and rested. He could only wait for Lin Xin's array diagram. The array of one of our human clan's giants. The coiling dragon silver spear in the Grand Elder's hand trembled. Can you confirm whose array it is? Guqi can't tell, Guqi said. The former unparalleled Sword Emperor, Yan Wushuang's unparalleled array, the Grand Elder said. The unparalleled Sword Emperor Yan Wushuang was recorded in the ancient records. After failing to pass the tribulation of the 7 emperors, his life source was destroyed. At the last stage of his life he killed a demon wing prince and finally died? Lu Qi looked at the Grand Elder. Yes, the array that Night Sorrow is trapped in is the unparalleled Sword Emperor's unparalleled array. That was a peak level 9 array formation. Night Sorrow would not be able to break it. 7th Elder, there is a supreme formation diagram in the library of the godly capital. Commander Lin, think of a way to contact Night Sorrow and give this diagram to him. Even though it will be hard for him to study a top-level formation diagram with his cultivation, this is something that can't be helped. It all depends on his own abilities. If you are slow in your research, you should stay in there for a longer period of time to settle down, the Grand Elder said. Lu Qi nodded. Since the Grand Elder had said so, he could only follow the Grand Elder's wishes. Because the peerless Sword Emperor failed his tribulation, he was in a hurry and didn't leave anything for us humans. Now that Night Sorrow has found the remains of the peerless Sword Emperor, this might be an opportunity, the Grand Elder said. Because he had fallen into a predicament, the image froze, and the clairvoyance stopped his divination. The Grand Elder nodded at Lu Qi and Lin Piamiao, then went to the small space world he was residing in. This matter is very big because it involves a supreme treasure of the human race. If the peerless Sword Emperor died in Mount Tianhuang, then the supreme treasure will either be taken away by the Demon Wing clan or it will be in the array formation Night Sorrow is in, the Grand Elder said. The human emperor's seal? Lin Piamiao asked the Grand Elder. That's right, one of the supreme treasures of the human race, the human emperor's seal. The Grand Elder nodded. In that case, Grand Elder, let's bring the array emperor master over and break the array formation to look for it, Lu Qi said. No, the peerless Sword Emperor died countless years ago, and there has been no news of him for countless years. This time, the supreme formation appeared because of Night Sorrow. If we interfere, fate will be messed up, and it will be hard to say if the human emperor's seal will appear, the Grand Elder shook his head and said. But such a high-level array formation isn't something Night Sorrow can figure out in a short time, Lin Piamiao said. That's why I asked you to come here. I want you to take the diagram of the unparalleled formation and find a way to explain it to Yi Shang so that he can understand the unparalleled formation as soon as possible, said the Great Elder. Lin Piamiao thought for a moment and nodded. She had to accept this task. If she couldn't break the array formation, Night Sorrow's clone would be trapped forever. Then Lu Qi and Lin Piaomiao left the Grand Elder's space world. My original body has already rushed over from God's capital with the diagram. This is a chance for you, you have to grasp it. Lu Qi said with a smile. Lin Piaomiao's expression was a little unnatural. She understood what Lu Qi meant. At the same time, her clone was also rushing over to Mount Tianhuang. When her clone arrived, Lu Qi's diagram would also be sent over. Because he couldn't understand it, Night Sorrow didn't waste any time and began to cultivate his battle skills while waiting for Lin Xian'er to find news of the array formation. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. 2 days later, Lin Piaomiao's original body returned to Misty Imperial City while her clone stayed in Mount Tianhuang to handle matters. Lin Piaomiao went to Night Moon Villa and told Dachura about Night Sorrow's current predicament. Then let's go together. Dachura was a little anxious when he heard that Night Sorrow was in trouble. When Lin Piaomiao approached the teleportation array, Night Sorrow stopped cultivating. This was the benefit of having the teleportation crystal recognize its owner. If someone with a higher cultivation wanted to teleport, he would immediately be alerted. Sensing Lin Piaomiao's aura, Night Sorrow directly let her pass and went to the tea house to wait. Dachura and Lin Piaomiao arrived at the tea house and Night Sorrow was waiting for them. Seeing the two of them, Night Sorrow was very happy. I was feeling depressed and came over. Let's not drink tea today, let's drink. Let's talk about drinking later. Sister Xian'er has something important to discuss with you. Dachura said. Lin Xian'er handed a beast skin book to Night Sorrow. This is the diagram of the array that trapped you. Take a look at it first. If it doesn't work, I'll guide you for a few days. When interacting with others, she was the Misty Battle Emperor Lin Piaomiao. But in front of Night Sorrow and Dachura, she was willing to be the simple Lin Xian'er. Diagram of the array? Night Sorrow was stunned. Yes, the diagram of the array, a very important diagram. That array was left behind by the human race's unparalleled Sword Emperor. In addition, at the place where he fell, it is very likely that the human race's treasure, the human Emperor's seal, is located. Lin Xian'er didn't hide anything from Night Sorrow and directly told him everything that the Grand Elder had said. The human Emperor's seal, this shouldn't have anything to do with the human Emperor of our chaotic realm, right? Night Sorrow looked at Dachura. Of course not. The human Emperor of our world of Samsara wasn't even an Emperor realm back then. His life experience and experience are also not up to par. The difference is too great. Dachura shook his head. It shouldn't be related. Sister Xian'er, I can't understand that array. I've tried a few times but I have no clue at all. If Sister Xian'er has nothing to do, please guide me. My doppelganger is tightly trapped. Night Sorrow said. He was troubled by this matter. No problem. I'm fine now. Lin Xian'er nodded. Chapter 1727. What are you thinking about? Lin Xian'er asked when she saw that Dachura was in a daze. Dachura turned around and looked at Lin Xian'er. Then he smiled at Lin Xian'er and used his soul to communicate with her. After hearing Dachura's words, Lin Xian'er blushed and reached out to pinch Dachura's face. You're too naughty and your mouth is too vicious. Because Mandela had said 8 words, they had hit it off immediately and they had become adulterers. Dachura got up and ran while Lin Xian'er chased after him. Night Sorrow was puzzled. What was going on? Why were they so close? After fooling around for a while, Lin Xian'er and Dachura returned and sat opposite Night Sorrow. Sister Xian'er, Aluo, one of you is the ethereal battle emperor of the celestial realm and the other is the dark ruler of the dark abyss of the world of Samsara. You guys are fooling around. Am I seeing things? Night Sorrow said. So what? We are also humans and have emotions and desires. It's tiring to put up a dignified front in front of others. When there's no one around, we can live happily. Dachura said. That makes sense. There aren't many people who can accept it. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, you have to work hard and come back soon. Dachura looked at Night Sorrow and said. It's difficult. Without the cultivation of an emperor and a level 4 domain, there's no hope of surviving the tide of nirvana. Night Sorrow took a sip of tea and said. What realm are you at now? Dachura looked at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't hide it from anyone and told them about his current situation. You're saying that the spacetime attribute isn't far from a level 2 emperor and your domain is already a level 3 domain? Datura asked in surprise. That's right. However, it's still impossible to cultivate to level 2 Emperor. I have a battle soon and after that, I'll have to change my cultivation location. The last battle with Demon Throat was a gentleman's battle. The next battle will be a battle of life and death. If I kill him, the Demon Winged clan will definitely capture me. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, that Demon Throat is a royal of the Demon Winged clan. If you have the chance, kill him. That's a merit. Lin Xianer said. Sister Xianer, it's very slow to earn merits this way. You might not even have any merits at all. This is a competition between races. I do have merits for the human race but not for the heavenly realm. If a merit pseudo-emperor wants to break through to the merit emperor realm, he needs merits for the heavenly realm and millions of living beings. It's already good enough that I didn't lose any merits from killing the Demon Winged clan, Yishan explained. So that's how it is. Then how are you going to break through? This experience won't help you at all. Lin Xianer frowned. This was different from what she had expected. Merit can't be forced. Just be yourself and let nature take its course. However, I have a hunch that I won't be far from Emperor. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Night Sorrow's other wives had also arrived at 9 Regions City. ZM New Dollar Most, Unspecified Currency Fast D. Top percent seeing Sikong Chuyu and the others, Lin Xianer nodded and greeted them. Sikong Chuyu and the others were also very polite. Apart from Night Sorrow, Sikong Chuyu and the others knew what was going on. When he was done studying formations, Yishang would make tea, wash fruits, and serve his wives comfortably. Night Sorrow, you don't have any status at home? Lin Xianer asked with a smile. Why would I need status at home? Night Sorrow was stunned. Aren't you the head of the family? I've seen many families where the men are very domineering. Lin Xianer said. Maybe. But that's not the life I want. That's because I don't understand enough. Night Sorrow shook his head. Night Sorrow's understanding of the family is not comparable to ordinary people. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Night Sorrow, tell me about your understanding. Lin Xianer was very curious about Night Sorrow's understanding of the family and his wives. Then let's talk about the relationship between husband and wife first. Before Chuyu married me, she was the treasure of the Sikong family. 9th senior sister and 6th senior sister were also the pearls of the Medicine Valley. Shueshi was also in charge of a family. Needless to say, Aluo was a duke in the world of samsara. They had never suffered or been wronged. After coming to the Yi family, I had to take care of the family, take care of my husband and children, and be filial to my parents-in-law. They gave me a beautiful life. What reason do I have to pursue status at home? Not to mention making tea and pouring water, it's not a big deal even if I have to serve them water to wash their feet. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Night Sorrow, don't talk about it. We're all very good now. It's just that you've been wronged and have to work hard outside. Sikong Chiyu's eyes were red. She had always thought that she understood Night Sorrow very well. Now she understood that Night Sorrow's feelings were something she had never understood before. You gave the best years of your life to me, to your family, and to your children. What's wrong with me? Night Sorrow hugged Sikong Chuyu and patted Sikong Chiyu's back. This is the deepest understanding of life and the deepest sublimation of emotions. Lin Xianer was deeply touched. Night Sorrow's thoughts were the opposite of the thoughts of most men in the celestial realm. However, his feelings were so real. Lin Xianer was not the only one who was deeply touched. Even the eyes of the few women who had been married to Night Sorrow for a long time turned red. What's wrong with you all? I said something wrong. I won't say such things in the future. Night Sorrow hurriedly apologized. 13. If these words were to spread, you would become the idol of all women and the nemesis of all men. Yang Lei sat beside Night Sorrow. How could that be? These are my thoughts and not anyone else's. Night Sorrow muttered. The understanding of the virtuous half-emperor is indeed different. Even the concept of home is different. Perhaps in the future, everyone's worldview will change because your worldview is correct and will affect the worldview of the people around you. Lin Xianer said. She knew that she had made the right choice. This was the kind of family she wanted to join. Chiyu, our daughter is going to get married. You have to watch over her carefully. Tell those with bad character to scram. Don't have any ideas about our daughter. When a son marries a wife, character is also the most important. I don't ask for any other good qualities, but narrow-mindedness is not allowed. I don't want the family to be in chaos in the future. Night Sorrow said to Sikong Chiyu. There are so many children. The concubines will take care of them. You should worry about whether any of the women in the Yi family will dare to marry them. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. What are you talking about? Our daughter won't be able to get married? Then as a father, I will treat them like treasures and raise them for the rest of their lives. Night Sorrow muttered. Night Sorrow's words made Sikong Chuyu and the others turn their noses up. Night Sorrow was too pampering and spoiling his children. Night Sorrow, you have to find a way to enter the virtuous half-emperor realm as soon as possible. Wufeng will soon propose marriage to Tsang Ning, but his body has the cold poison. Even if he marries, there won't be any children. Once you enter the virtuous half-emperor realm, you can help him resolve it. Lin Xian'er said. Chapter 1728. I'll take care of it. You should study formations with Sister Xian'er first. Come back soon with your clone. There's something good waiting for you. We'll get you a beautiful wife, Datura said with a smile. You still have such thoughts? All right. I'll be waiting. Night Sorrow said with a laugh. He really didn't think too much about it and thought that Datura was joking. Night Sorrow continued to study formations. Datura thought about preparing an engagement gift for Wufeng and Tsang Ning, but he couldn't think of anything suitable. Wufeng and Tsang Ning didn't lack anything. Big Brother and Old Tsang don't lack anything. Then let's give them a stable and comfortable life. Give them a mansion in 9 Regions City. Night Sorrow made a decision. 13. The stability of 9 Regions world is the most important thing. I don't recommend you do that, always said. Big Brother Wufeng and Old Tsang are fine. They're not outsiders. Night Sorrow looked at Aoi and said. Aoi, don't worry. I can guarantee that, Lin Xian'er said. Okay, I understand. Sister Xian'er, don't mind it. 9 Regions world is our home. Our family, lovers, and children are all here. We have to be careful, Aoi said. 6th senior sister, I'll be careful. Night Sorrow nodded. Night Sorrow, Celestial Sect still has designs on Starmoon Lake. A war between factions is inevitable in the future. Someone saw Ling Tian's figure in the city that World Edge Pavilion gave us, Datura said. Damn it. When I come back I'll kill him immediately. Hearing the name Ling Tian, Night Sorrow was furious. Ling Tian had brought great trouble to World of Reincarnation. Senior brother went, but Ling Tian escaped. Senior brother killed Ling Ju, Datura said. At most 6 new V chapter, section 2-inch. This is too risky. If Ling Tian still has a puppet, senior brother will be in danger. Night Sorrow said worriedly. There are some things you don't know. Right now, in the primal chaos realm, apart from you becoming an emperor and me refining Datura Chinensis's origin source, Blood Emperor Sandalwood's achievements are the highest. He has been a pseudo-emperor for some time now, so he doesn't need to change his title. Datura explained Sandalwood's situation. Eldest senior brother is so fierce? Night Sorrow looked at Datura in surprise. Yes. After spending 5 million years in prison and surviving 5 million years as a madman, he began his true rise, Datura said. Night Sorrow, what's with your senior brother being imprisoned for 5 million years? Lin Xian'er asked. Senior brother, you've suffered too much in the past. Yi Shang exhaled and told Lin Xian'er about Sandalwood's situation. Some cultivators will have to endure some twists and turns on the road to rise. If they can overcome some tribulations, they will soar to the sky. Your senior brother should be in this situation. The cultivators from other realms have a low starting point because they don't have high-level inheritances. However, they all have a strong point. The strong point that the disciples of the big clans and powers in the heaven realm are envious of is that they are good at combat. The name Blood Emperor Sandalwood sounds very domineering. It seems that you two have a very good relationship. However, that shouldn't be the case. You are so young, so you shouldn't have much interaction with him. Lin Xian'er said. Their relationship is very deep. Sandalwood doesn't have many ideals. First, he wants to be with his wife. Second, he wants to fight alongside Night Sorrow. If anyone hurts Night Sorrow, he will use his saber to reason with them. This is because he knows that without Night Sorrow, he wouldn't be where he is now. Datura explained the past between Night Sorrow and Sandalwood. When a person is lonely and helpless, the emotions they feel are unforgettable. Night Sorrow, why did you visit him at that time? Lin Xian'er asked. Master has only accepted 2 disciples in his life. Senior brother has no relatives. As his junior brother, I have the responsibility to take care of him. Night Sorrow thought back to the past and shook his head. The days passed peacefully. Night Sorrow worked hard to raise his cultivation level while his two doppelgangers studied and deduced formations. As she guided Night Sorrow on formations, Lin Xian agreed with Gu Qi's evaluation of Night Sorrow. Rough. Night Sorrow's formation cultivation in the past was too rough. This resulted in some of his formations being set up and broken, but there was also a benefit to it. He had a deep understanding of the basics. Lin Xian patiently imparted her knowledge of formations to Night Sorrow, starting from the basics. She pointed out all the flaws and mistakes that Night Sorrow had in the past. Sister Xian, what you imparted to me should be a high-level formation Dao inheritance. There shouldn't be any drawbacks, right? Night Sorrow asked. There are no drawbacks. Whether it's cultivation techniques or formations, I obtain them myself. I don't need to explain them to anyone. Of course, I won't impart anything that isn't suitable to you. Lin Xian said. Lin Xian was the top of the Fiend God list. Her fighting ability was unparalleled. She was also a high-level formation Dao Emperor Master. Because of her tyrannical battle strength, she overshadowed the glory of being an Emperor Master. With Lin Xian's guidance, Night Sorrow's formation Dao cultivation soared because he already had a foundation. In order to buy time, Night Sorrow asked Datura to bring the Clear Sky Pagoda over from the city in the sky. This way he could cultivate formations in a time acceleration environment. Formations Dao was broad and profound. Night Sorrow received Lin Xian's guidance in the Clear Sky Pagoda. 2 months had passed in the real world. Night Sorrow cultivated for 100 months in the Clear Sky Pagoda under Lin Xian's guidance. After more than 8 years he finally walked on the orthodox path of formation Dao cultivation. He also had some understanding of the unparalleled great formation left behind by the unparalleled Sword Emperor because he had the formation diagram in hand. Night Sorrow, you only know about the unparalleled battle formation. It's impossible to break it. However, with the formation diagram in hand, you can walk in and out of the formation without a problem. Tidy up and familiarize yourself with it. You can try to move in the unparalleled great formation and see if there are any opportunities. If you have the human emperor's seal, you can take it. Remember, no matter who wants it, even if it's a human race ancestor, you can't give it to them. That's a divine artifact of fate. Lin Xian said. Not giving it? Night Sorrow was stunned. Treasures belong to the virtuous. Why should I give it to them? If they have the ability, why don't they look for it themselves? They want to wait for a ready-made one? No way, Lin Xian said. They exiled me. I don't want to communicate with them anymore. In the future, if there's a war between the human race, I will do what I should do. However, don't force those lousy rules and ideas on me. I won't accept them. If I can return from Tianhuang smoothly, I will go to Star Moon Lake and live comfortably as the Overlord, Night Sorrow said. After all these years, Night Sorrow was a little tired. Chapter 1729. Night Sorrow did not say anything. He knew that Lin Xian was right. There were some things that would result in karma the moment one stepped in. Also, the elders of the human race are actually a group of people worthy of respect. This time it was because of an individual black sheep. The great elder hoped that I would persuade you. At that time I had no choice but to accept. Lin Xian said in a low voice. Is that so? Then I can't make things difficult for Sister Xian. We'll talk about it when the time comes. Sister Xian will arrange everything, but we won't do anything that will cause us to lose out, Night Sorrow said to Lin Xian. Thank you, Sister Xian, Lin Xian said. She originally thought that this matter would be difficult to handle, but she did not expect that Night Sorrow would not refuse once she opened her mouth. What are you thanking me for? Sister Xian, you won't cheat me, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Yes, Sister Xian will never cheat you in this life. Lin Xian looked at Night Sorrow and said seriously. Sister Xian, these words are too serious. Night Sorrow was stunned because Lin Xian's words were very serious. It could be said that it was a promise. And then try to walk around the peerless array. Although you can move around in the array, you still have to be careful. Some old demons have very heaven-defying methods. You also know about Guizu's situation. His methods are all linked together. In addition, I have to return to Ethereal City. That day, I asked Wu Feng to come to the City Lord's mansion to propose marriage 3 days later. I ran for more than 2 months and they still couldn't find me, Lin Xian reminded Night Sorrow and said with a smile. After Lin Xian left 9 Regions City, Night Sorrow also exited the Clear Sky Pagoda. He asked Datura, who was resting in the tea house next to the City Lord's mansion, to bring the Clear Sky Pagoda replica back to Sky City. Night Sorrow, Sister Shen'er is very good to you. She is also alone, so marry her. Datura said. Aluo. Don't talk nonsense, Sister Shen'er will be angry if she hears it. Night Sorrow quickly interrupted Datura's words. She's not talking nonsense. Sikong Chuyu and the others came out of the tea house. What's wrong with you guys? Night Sorrow frowned. He knew that this wasn't a joke. After that, Datura told her about the conversation between Lin Shen'er and her. Do you remember that day when Big Sister Shen'er chased me and beat me up? Because I said something, the two of you hit it off and hooked up with each other. Datura explained the reason why she and Lin Shen'er had fought that day. That's not appropriate. It's not fair to you. We can't make you feel uncomfortable because of others, Night Sorrow said. I'm fine. She's a nice person. She doesn't have an overbearing aura when she's with us. It feels like we've known each other for a long time, Sikong Chuyu said. This has nothing to do with her being nice. I've already wronged you guys enough. Night Sorrow looked at his wives with guilt in his eyes. Rejection is hurt. Night Sorrow, we don't want to see Sister Shen'er walk down the heartless path because of your rejection. Not to mention that she's outstanding, she's also a good person, Datura said. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He suddenly felt a little lost. He couldn't say how he felt about Lin Shen'er, but he didn't want to hurt her. Without saying anything else, Night Sorrow turned and entered the heaven ceiling hall. He needed to think and calm down. Night Sorrow's clone that was trapped by the array formation in the heaven desolate mountain began to move. He already understood the unparalleled array formation. Although he couldn't break it, he could still avoid dangerous and murderous areas. There were still 3 months before the time he had agreed to meet Devil Throat. Night Sorrow had to fight with all his might. His doppelganger had to return if he could. His true body and doppelganger were together. That was his highest combat power. Night Sorrow was confident in himself, but he never underestimated any opponent. He also knew that Demon Throat wasn't simple. He was a member of the Demon Wing Imperial family. Last time, Demon Throat also didn't fight with all his strength. Night Sorrow was very careful as he advanced. This was the Heaven Desolate Mountain. It might be the place where a big shot of the human clan fell. Therefore it was hard to say what would happen here. The unparalleled array formation covered a large area. Night Sorrow didn't even know when he stepped into the array formation. He didn't know how many miles he had advanced. He was currently walking towards the center of the array formation. The human clan's supreme treasure was lost. If there was a chance to find it, he had to find it. No matter who had the treasure, it had to be the human clan. After advancing for a day, Night Sorrow arrived at a special area. It could be said that it was a canyon covered by the array formation. There were strong energy fluctuations in the canyon. Night Sorrow carried the space-splitting spear and advanced slowly. If there were energy fluctuations, it meant that there was a situation. He had to investigate it carefully. After advancing for a while, Night Sorrow saw a special scene. There was a big jade green seal with a diameter of 10 feet. There was silver hair wrapped around it. There was a woman tied to the jade green seal. The woman was kneeling on the ground. Her legs were pressed under the seal. Above her knees, her back was leaning against the seal. It was as if she was carrying the seal and couldn't move anymore. Zertzi, the seal, was constantly producing green light energy, tightly binding the woman to the seal. On the light energy there were golden characters circulating. Night Sorrow recognized the characters. They were the characters of the human Tao scripture, the Book of Tao. The characters were circulating with energy restraints. What was going on? Night Sorrow was stunned. The woman was dressed in black armor. Part of her white hair was coiled on the ground while the other part was wrapped around the seal. She was resisting the light energy on the seal. 3,000 feet of white hair. Night Sorrow could tell the length of the silver hair that was coiled around the woman's body. He didn't go near this area because everything here was unknown. Ah, Mo Chinji, we humans have arrived here first. This proves that the human race is prosperous. A voice sounded. It was filled with pride and excitement. Yen Wushuang, what's the point of him coming here? What can a piece of trash who isn't even an imperial emperor solve? The woman snorted. Then, her white hair floated up and flew towards Night Sorrow. Her speed was unparalleled and there were energy blades that tore through space. The space-time domain spread out and Night Sorrow retreated a bit. Night Sorrow did not dare to get close to the energy attack of the 3,000 feet of white hair. However, he was filled with anger. He had worked hard to become an emperor, but he had still been called trash. Not only had he been looked down upon, but he had also been attacked. Attacking indiscriminately. Why didn't I crush you to death? Night Sorrow scolded when he reached a safe area. Young man, you scolded well. You can't help me now. Hurry up and call the human race's sect elder over. Kill her. Remember, I can only suppress her for 3 days at most. The voice that couldn't be seen said, You're a human? Night Sorrow asked. He wanted to confirm the situation. Chapter 1730. So it's Senior Unparalleled Sword Emperor. What do you want me to do now? Didn't she attack me? Then I'll kill her. After confirming their relationship, Night Sorrow decided to think of a way to kill this heavenly concubine. Ah! An ant dares to boast shamelessly. Even if I don't fight back, do you think you can kill me? Yin Wushuang, you said you can at most suppress me for 3 more days. However, I'll tell you that tonight is the night Imo Tianji will be free. The black-armored white-haired woman laughed loudly. Following her laughter, the jade-green seal shook. Night Sorrow's expression changed. The clone in the heaven-sealing hall sent someone to Datura and asked him to find Lin Xian. Hurry and inform them. Yin Wushuang's voice was somewhat anxious. Junior was exiled. Because my cultivation isn't enough, I can't withstand the nirvana tide. Therefore I can't return. However, another clone has already contacted them. However, there isn't enough time. Also, my main body is rushing over. Senior, let's think of a way to kill her first. Night Sorrow said. I can't kill her. She is one of the 3 giants of the devil-winged race. Even at my peak, I could only suppress her. Right now, my soul power is barely enough to use the human emperor's seal to control her. Currently, I'm burning my soul power. At most, I can last for 3 more days. Yin Wushuang's words were somewhat powerless. Senior, is there no other way? Although I'm unwilling, I'm a human. Even if my clone is destroyed, I have to kill her. Night Sorrow knew the human emperor's seal was suppressing a giant of the devil-winged race and made a decision. Human emperor's seal can't be used without a 9-star emperor. In other words, a peak emperor's cultivation. You can't help me. You can't even break her defense by attacking her. Hurry and leave. Inform the human race to prepare for war. This is the underground cavern. She came here to trigger the heaven-desolate earthly fiendish aura in the underground cavern and cancel out the nirvana ocean's tide. When that happens, this entire region will be destroyed and there won't be a single living being left. Furthermore, without the nirvana tide, it will be difficult for the human race to stop the devil-winged race. Sigh. Yin Wushuang's words were a bit hurried and in the end he let out a sigh. Originally, he thought that Yi Shang was a human tribe cultivator and would be followed by a human tribe patriarch. Who would have thought that Yi Shang was a cultivator who had been exiled by Tianhuang City? Is there no other way? Was nirvana desolate earthly fiendish aura earthly fiendish aura earthly fiendish aura? If you want to kill her now, you must have the cultivation of a rank 9 emperor or the power of a human emperor. Leave quickly. Before my soul power runs out, I will severely injure her, Yin Wushuang said. ID most I5 new D chapter equals previous V. The power of the human sovereign. Yin Wushuang stopped dreaming. There have been bodies of merit and saints of merit in the human race, but that's all in the past. When I go out, I'll make the human race bleed. Anyone who dares to resist will be killed. In the future, the human race will be our devil-winged race's food. Imo Chenji laughed loudly because she was about to escape. Shut up. Why are you talking so much nonsense? You laugh like a wolf. Is it nice? Senior Yin, what is the human emperor's power that you mentioned? Is it related to the merit body? Night Sorrow reprimanded Imo Tianji. Imo Tianji, who was laughing, felt like someone stepped on her neck because Night Sorrow's scolding was rather harsh. The merit body is the power recognized by the heavenly Tao. The merit body of the human merit monarch has another name, which is human emperor's power. Yin Wushuang explained. Imo Tianji laughed. Her 3,000 feet long white hair fluttered in the wind. She had been suppressed by Yin Wushuang's human emperor's seal for countless years. She was about to escape. Night Sorrow also raised his head and laughed. For him, this was a glimmer of hope. He had the merit body. Even if it wasn't at the merit emperor's level, it was more than the merit body. Human ant, what are you laughing about? Imo Chenji stopped laughing because Night Sorrow's laughter made her hair stand on end. Then what are you laughing about? Night Sorrow stopped laughing and looked at Imo Chenji. I'm about to escape. After I recover, it will be the end of the human race. Emo Chinji's words were filled with killing intent. Then I'll answer you now. What am I laughing about? I'm laughing at you. Stop dreaming. Now you can experience what it means by extreme joy begets sorrow. Senior Yin, although I'm not the merit body, I still have the merit body of a great perfection half-sovereign. Even if I can't kill her, it shouldn't be a problem to trick her, right? Night Sorrow stopped the operation of his leakless true body. Then he activated the merit body and the light of merit from his divine sea. Emo Chinji, do you know what it means to be prosperous? We've resisted for close to 2 epochs and no outsider has come. The one who came is a human and a merit body half-sovereign at that. Just admit that you're unlucky. This time it was Yen Wushuang's turn to laugh. This change in attitude was too sudden. Listening to her laughter, she wants to keep the human race in captivity? Let's kill her now. Senior, what do you want me to do? Night Sorrow looked at the human emperor's seal and asked. Easy. She's on par with me now. The only difference is that I need to burn my soul force. When we fight later, seize the opportunity to get close to the human emperor's seal and pour your merit body into it. I'll use the merit fire to burn this vicious person to death. Yen Wushuang said. You 2 bastards are dreaming. Emo Chinji furiously roared. At this moment, the human emperor's seal erupted with a dark green radiance. The energy threads constantly tightened around Emo Chinji, wanting to tear her body apart. Emo Chinji couldn't move her body. She could only use her 3,000 feet long white hair to resist the energy from the human emperor's seal. The sound of energy explosions constantly resounded. Night Sorrow made his move. He couldn't get close to the human emperor's seal, so he had to think of a way. He waved his space splitter spear and pierced through the spatial barrier. Normally, Night Sorrow couldn't enter the spatial barrier inside the unparalleled formation because the formation had strengthened the spatial barrier. But now he could. You guys have fun. I'm leaving. Night Sorrow's body flashed and entered the spatial turbulence. Then he charged into the distance. Yen Wushuang, your human brat ran away. What a joke. Emo Chinji laughed again because this was a joke to her. Yen Wushuang also laughed. He found it funny that Emo Chinji looked down on Night Sorrow. He knew that Night Sorrow wouldn't leave. He didn't understand Night Sorrow. He trusted the merit demi-sovereign. He knew how difficult it was to become a virtuous saint, let alone a virtuous half-emperor who had surpassed the virtuous grand sage and the virtuous heavenly monarch. He definitely wouldn't let the human race down. He attacked crazily, trying to find a chance for Yishang to close in. Chapter 1731. The human emperor's seal released threads of energy that tried to strangle Emo Chinji. Her white hair danced in the wind, blocking the energy threads. However, whenever her white hair came into contact with the human emperor's seal, it would be stuck. In the past, more than half of her white hair had been controlled by the human emperor's seal. Night Sorrow knew that as long as he lay on the human emperor's seal, Yen Wushuang would take care of him. When he got close to the human emperor's seal, Night Sorrow's left hand slapped toward it. He used the light of virtue hand. Yen Wushuang told him that as long as the light of virtue was on the human emperor's seal, he could activate its power. Damn it. Seeing Night Sorrow appear, Emo Chinji's white hair whipped toward Night Sorrow. The white hair was too fast. Knowing that he could not dodge, Night Sorrow used his spacetime domain spatial fold to block it. He also used his virtuous immortal body to protect himself. He did not dare to be careless against one of the 3 giants of the Demon Wing clan. Pah, pah. Continuous explosions rang out. Night Sorrow's spacetime domain spatial fold defense was shattered by Emo Chinji's white hair. Night Sorrow flipped his body and placed the space splitter spear in front of his chest. Then he used his mysterious yellow armor. Emo Chinji was too strong. Just a single strand of her white hair was enough to make him defend with all his might. Whether or not he could block it was still unknown. The space splitter spear's shaft was broken by Emo Chinji's white hair. After that, the space splitter spear continued toward Night Sorrow's chest. Night Sorrow's expression changed. He knew that the mysterious yellow armor could not block it. There was no chance of luck. Emo Chinji was too strong. His body was about to be cut in half by that strand of white hair. However, at that moment the human emperor's seal changed. A golden light appeared within the green energy. Then 2 threads of energy appeared. One blocked Night Sorrow's chest, and the other stuck to Emo Chinji's white hair. Then it pulled them aside and resolved Night Sorrow's crisis. Old witch, if you don't kill me, I will kill you. Night Sorrow flipped his body and laid on the human emperor's seal. Then he placed his left hand on the human emperor's seal and transferred the golden light of merit. At that moment, flames appeared on Emo Chenji's body. They were golden flames. It was the fire of merit. Emo Chenji, aren't you very arrogant? Let's see who will have the last laugh. Brat, hold on. Once you deal with that old witch, the human emperor's seal will be yours. Yan Wushuang laughed loudly. You two bastards, you won't have a good death. I will definitely kill you. Emo Chenji roared. She couldn't withstand it because this was the virtuous soul-extinguishing flame. It was a virtuous fire that was supported by the human emperor's seal. Senior, restrain her. My true body is here. Night Sorrow shouted. At this moment, his true body had already entered the unparalleled formation. Young man, you have a bright future. With a junior like you, how can the human race not prosper? Ah. Yan Wushuang laughed loudly. Yan Wushuang, you despicable person. You burned your soul and will completely disappear from this world in 3 days. Is it worth it? Let me go and we will fight again in the future. Emo Chenji roared angrily. Back then you guys surrounded me and destroyed my body. Although it was a body that had its vitality destroyed by the thunder tribulation, I wanted to drag one of you down with me. I hid here and waited. Who would have thought that the unlucky one would be you? You came here to release the baleful chi of heaven and earth. If I didn't trick you, who would I trick? I, Yan Wushuang, don't care about being called a despicable person. Back then, I failed the tribulation of the 7 emperors and was destined to fall. I relied on the human emperor's seal to live for so many years. It is enough. Today I will drag you down with me. It is worth it. Yan Wushuang's voice was very loud and filled with an indomitable spirit. Little brat, your true body doesn't need to come in. Go to the eastern divine wind position. There is a cave sealed by a boulder there. My inheritance is inside as well as some worldly possessions. Your true body can take them and leave. Your avatar can stay here with me and fight her to the death. Yan Wushuang's voice entered Yishang's divine sea. This time it was a soul transmission. The virtuous flames on Emo Chenji's body grew stronger and stronger. Her white face was already red. The virtuous flames not only attacked the body but also the soul. Release your soul power into the human emperor's seal. Before my soul is destroyed, I will help you recognize me as your master. Otherwise, you will not be able to move this human emperor's seal. Yan Wushuang's spiritual voice entered Night Sorrow's divine sea again. S+C. Version D+LT. Although he was a little confused, Night Sorrow still did as he was told. At this moment, Night Sorrow felt a majestic power wrap around his soul power and enter the human emperor's seal. Then the power flowed through the array within the human emperor's seal. A moment later he entered a space. There was a figure standing in the space. The figure was tall and slender. His hair was tied up in a bun. He looked like a middle-aged scholar. Night Sorrow controlled his soul power to transform into a human body. Young man, you are very good. After my soul dissipates, you will be the sole master of this human emperor's seal. Your cultivation is low. Although you can use your virtuous powers to activate it, its power is not enough. You will get into trouble because of your wealth. Therefore, do not use the human emperor's seal as you wish. Use it as an auxiliary magic treasure. When you reach the emperor realm, you can let the human emperor's seal shine again in the human world. The middle-aged scholar Yan Wushuang nodded at Night Sorrow. Senior, is there no other way? Night Sorrow asked. When he heard the conversation between Yan Wushuang and Emo Chenji, he knew that Yan Wushuang did not have long to live. No. I failed the tribulation of the 7 emperors and have actually died. Because of the human emperor's seal, this divine artifact of the human emperor's seal, I was able to struggle at death's door. I have already told you about my inheritance. I do not have any requirements for you. When your cultivation is high enough to protect the human emperor's seal and bring it back to the human emperor's seal, you must prove for me that I am not a sinner of the human race. I did not lose the human emperor's seal. If I did not use it, I would not have been able to control Emo Chenji. Senior, you are a sage of the human race. How can you be a sinner? Night Sorrow said emotionally. How can I control the population of the human race? Didn't you, the virtuous half-emperor, get exiled? I do not want to be buried underground with a bad name. Yan Wushuang said. Night Sorrow, as long as I am alive, I will definitely do it. I will definitely clear your name. Night Sorrow bowed. Good. Let's deal with Emo Chenji first. She is the founder of the winged demon race's cultivation civilization. She possesses the fate of the winged demon race. Once we deal with her, the war between the human race and the winged demon race will be easier. Yan Wushuang made hand seals to activate the virtuous light that Night Sorrow brought into the human emperor's seal. Night Sorrow understood. Yan Wushuang used her soul power to guide his soul power around the human emperor's seal. He already understood some of the core formations of the human emperor's seal. Emo Chenji kept screaming. The virtuous fire attacked her soul, making her suffer unspeakably. Her body trembled as she knelt on the ground. Yan Wushuang, I won't waste time with you. But I want to tell you that you have lost. You will die, but I still have a chance to make a comeback. Emo Chenji roared. A shadow rushed out from her head. It also had 3,000 feet of white hair, but it was covered in flames. Chapter 1732. Haha. Emo Chenji, you lost. I know I can't kill you, so I forced you out of your body. That's my goal. The middle-aged man laughed. Senior, you're not going to kill her? Night Sorrow was shocked. She's an expert who went through the tribulation of the 7 emperors. Even though she's a bit weaker than me, it's impossible for me, a soul without a body, to kill her. She wasn't confident, so her spirit infant left her body and ran away. Move the human emperor's seal away and put her body away. Then find the most secretive place to hide her. Don't let the Demon Wing clan take her back, Yan Wushuang instructed Yishang. Night Sorrow used his soul power to move the human emperor's seal away. He could control it now. With the human emperor's seal away, Emo Chenji's body slumped to the ground. Night Sorrow used his soul power to put Emo Chenji's body into the 8-dragon cauldron and used its energy to suppress her. Night Sorrow saw a hole where the human emperor's seal used to be. The hole was filled with rolling evil chi. We'll talk later. I'll deal with this first. After Yan Wushuang said that, he controlled the human emperor's seal to release a few streams of energy. Then, with these streams of energy as the core, he quickly set up a floating array. It was like a void array disk. Yan Wushuang's soul power floated above the human emperor's seal. His hands kept releasing energy to complete the void array disk. It took him 4 hours. Seal. Yan Wushuang pressed down with his hands, pressing the void array disk into the ground. It's done. One day later, the evil chi of heaven and earth will be suppressed and change the channel. It'll be impossible for the demon wings to trigger the evil chi of heaven and earth here. You've helped me get rid of Emo Chenji. It's a great merit for the human race. It's also a great merit for the entire celestial realm, Yan Wushuang said. After he finished setting up the array, his body became a lot fainter. Senior, please return to the human emperor's seal. I'll take you home when I can. Night Sorrow's voice was choked with sobs. Child, thank you. I've lived for nearly 1 reincarnation cycle, so I've seen through everything. However, I don't understand. You're the virtuous merit half-sovereign. How could you be exiled? Are the patriarchs of the human clan so muddle-headed these days? Yan Wushuang asked. I was tricked. I was dragged out of the dungeon overnight and exiled. I wasn't given a chance to explain myself. Senior, please don't be disappointed. It's just the actions of an individual. Although Night Sorrow was filled with hatred, he didn't want Yan Wushuang, whose soul was about to disperse, to have any worries or regrets. The sharpness of a treasured sword had to be sharpened. This was not a bad thing. To be able to see you before I disappear, to be able to see the rising star of the human race, I am very happy. Have you found my inheritance? A sword, a storage ring, and nothing else. Yan Wushuang looked at Night Sorrow and said, I found it. I'm already here. After saying that, Night Sorrow's true body appeared and merged with his clone. You can't switch to Sword Dao. However, Sword Dao and Spear Dao have a lot in common. You can study them. In addition, you can make the arrangements for my inheritance. You can impart it to whoever you want. However, if you don't have any strength of character or pride, I won't impart it to anyone even if they rot in the ground. Yan Wushuang looked at Night Sorrow and said, Night Sorrow will remember Senior's arrangement. Night Sorrow nodded. You cultivate Formation Dao. You don't have any problems cultivating my Formation Dao. Can you call me Master? Yan Wushuang looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Disciple Night Sorrow greets Master. Night Sorrow got down on one knee and cupped his fists above his head. Very good. That's enough. I don't have anything to worry about. There are some things, some cultivation experiences and sword techniques. They are all in the storage ring. Give it to me first. Yan Wushuang waved his arm and used his soul power to pull Night Sorrow up. Night Sorrow handed Yan Wushuang's storage ring over. Normally speaking, soul power had nothing to do with material energy. Soul power could not support a storage ring. However, high-level cultivators could use their soul power to move the energy of heaven and earth. Thus, it was not a problem for them. Yan Wushuang took out a large piece of golden stone from his storage ring. He then controlled the human sovereign's seal to become the size of a human head, turning it into something similar to a seal. Next, the golden ore melted and poured on the human sovereign's seal. Next, his fingers moved rhythmically and one array after another was carved on it. 1 hour later, Yan Wushuang finished what he was doing. However, the jade-green human sovereign seal had turned golden. Update $most coup quickest year. SB, you'll have no problem holding on to it this time. No one will recognize that it's the human sovereign's seal. The human sovereign's seal contains the human sovereign's sacred scripture, the Tao Te Ching. It contains the human race's moral civilization. If you have a conflict with anyone in the human race, just take this and smash them to death. You won't be tainted by karma, nor will your merit be damaged, he said to Night Sorrow. Master, please return to the human emperor's seal. Disciple will think of a way to find heavenly materials and earthly treasures to help you reconstruct your body. Disciple also has the heavenly Tao flower. Yes, Master, quickly use it. This is the petal of the heavenly Tao. Night Sorrow took out a petal of the heavenly Tao flower and handed it to Yan Wushuang. Silly child, Yang Qi said. During the tribulation of the 7 sovereigns, Master destroyed my life force essence. Those Devil Wing clan trash aren't qualified to destroy Master's fleshly body. Alright, get out of here. I have no regrets. After saying these words, Yan Wushuang's body shook and disappeared in front of Night Sorrow. He did it cleanly, scattering his soul origin as soon as he said so, without any hesitation at all. Night Sorrow closed his eyes for a moment of silence, then bowed 3 times and left. Peace was restored here. No one knew that there was a confrontation between the human race and the Devil Wing clan here. Night Sorrow was in a very low mood because a sage of the human race had fallen. Other than him, no one knew that he had fallen in this heaven-desolate mountain. Night Sorrow swore that he would definitely clear Yan Wushuang's name. Yan Wushuang did not selfishly keep the human emperor's seal, nor did it lose it. Instead, it was used to suppress the Devil Wing clan for the human race. Lin Xianer arrived at the Heaven Sealing Hall, but Night Sorrow was fine. The dust had already settled. Sister Xianer, you're here. Let a Luo accompany you today. I'm not in a good mood, so I need some peace and quiet. Night Sorrow said in a low voice. Alright, I won't leave. Call me if you need anything. Lin Xianer knew that something had happened to Night Sorrow because Night Sorrow's eyes were filled with sorrow. Night Sorrow's main body left the unparalleled formation. The moment he came out, a golden light appeared in the sky. Virtuous golden light. I can't leave. Night Sorrow knew that he couldn't leave this place. If he left the unparalleled formation, he would be easily discovered by the Devil Wing clan. If he was discovered by the Devil Wing clan, he would be dead. Night Sorrow returned to the unparalleled formation in 2 flashes, then went to the core area of the formation and sat down cross-legged. At this time, golden lotuses were floating in the sky, and the sound of nature reverberated. However, the sound of nature was mixed with sorrowful cries. At this time, not only the heaven-desolate mountain, but the heaven-desolate city and the human race's celestial realm were also filled with golden lotuses. The human race's elders in the heaven-desolate city all gathered in the divination hall and began to perform divination. Chapter 1733. At this moment, Night Sorrow's heart was filled with sadness. Coupled with the fact that he was exiled, anger rose in his heart. In the past, Night Sorrow couldn't sense other people's divination. But now he could clearly sense that someone was watching him. This was the power of the Deluxe Merit Emperor. Therefore, when he punched, the projection collapsed, causing the diviner to bleed from the corner of his mouth. The diviner stood up and said, "Lords, I can't perform the divination anymore." "What's going on, Deluxe Merit Emperor?" Lu Qi looked at the Grand Elder. "Yes, the problem is serious. We don't know how we provoked him again. His heart is filled with anger. His eyes were filled with sadness just now. The sound of nature was filled with sorrow. That's his state of mind." The Grand Elder said. "That's strange. We didn't provoke him. It's just a divination. There's no need for him to be so angry. Did something happen to him in the array formation that caused him to be dissatisfied with us?" Gu Qi said suspiciously. "It's very possible. Elder Zhai Xing, don't perform the divination anymore. The Deluxe Merit Emperor isn't someone you can casually pry into. He has the power of the human sovereign. To a certain extent, his will is an order. His thoughts can't be disobeyed. The Grand Elder said. Our human race has never had a deluxe merit emperor. Aren't we going to bring him back? Gucci asked. We'll talk about this later. Inform all the human elders in Tianhuang City for a meeting. The Grand Elder said. After Night Sorrow punched, golden light rippled in all directions. Night Sorrow felt that he had broken something. He understood that the divination had been interrupted. This was the power of virtue of the deluxe merit emperor. After solving this problem, Night Sorrow sat down cross-legged and began to collect the deluxe merit golden lotuses falling from the sky. More deluxe merit golden lotuses fell from the 9-domain world. The sound of nature was heard, but it carried a sad aura. In front of the heaven-sealing hall, Night Sorrow sat cross-legged and collected the power of virtue descending from heaven and earth. Inside the Tianhuang mountain, Night Sorrow's original body and his avatar sat separately. They circulated the leakless true body and gathered the light of merit. This lasted for 4 hours before the world quieted down. Night Sorrow also stood up. He had completely retracted his light of virtue. After sensing it, Night Sorrow discovered that his body was completely soaked in the light of virtue. Whether it was his flesh, blood, bones, or divine sea, they were all shining with a golden light. His bones had become true lustrous golden bones. Exhaling twice, Night Sorrow planned to find a safe place to stabilize himself and study his own body. Then he would finish his battle with Demon Throat. After the battle, he would hide and cultivate in peace. Mo Qianji's escape was a hidden danger, and the golden light that filled the sky had caused a huge commotion. In addition, he had killed many Demon Wings race members. With these factors added together, it was normal for the Demon Winged clan to come to the heavenly desolate mountain to search and capture people. The Peerless formation was very powerful, but if the other party came to find them, and if there was really a supreme powerhouse, the formation wasn't omnipotent. After leaving the Peerless formation, Night Sorrow didn't return to his cultivation base. Instead, he went to the teleportation array closest to his cultivation base. After taking the teleportation crystal from the array, he smashed the clear sky pagoda into the ground and began cultivating. The body of virtue had become the virtuous emperor. If he wanted to transform the power of virtue into strength, he first had to strengthen the virtuous immortal body and then use the virtuous hand. In the 9-domain world, Night Sorrow's avatar stood up and nodded to his wife. Virtuous emperor? Lin Xian looked at Night Sorrow. Yes. When you have time, ask Brother Wufeng to come over. I will help him deal with the cold poison in his body. Aluo, ask Aunt Fei to come over when she has time. I will also give it a try, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, what happened? Why are you not in a good mood? Datura looked at Night Sorrow and asked. It's just that I'm a bit emotional and touched. Yishang nodded. Your punch injured the heavenly desolate city's divination master. Now the human clan's elders are in a meeting, Lin Xianer said. I don't care. I don't care what they want to do. Night Sorrow's eyes were filled with sadness. Can you tell me what happened? Lin Xianer asked. I saw a human clan sage fall in front of me. If the human clan had taken action earlier, Master wouldn't be like this. He has been fighting alone for countless years by burning his soul, Night Sorrow growled. Master? What happened to 13? Yang Lei grabbed Night Sorrow's shoulder and asked. Yishang told him about Yen Wushuang's matter and her death. That's right. If the human clan had advanced over the years and taken the initiative to fight, they might have discovered the existence of the Peerless formation. Then these things wouldn't have happened. It's too painful to keep burning one's soul to fight, Lin Xianer said. I will tell you the results of their meeting. Also, don't be too sad. This is fate. Fortunately, you rushed there in time and didn't let Senior Yan's efforts go to waste. According to Senior Yan, Mo Tianji's clone was destroyed and her original body was suppressed. This time, her nascent soul left her body and her injuries were very serious, Lin Xianer said. Yes, I am just a little sad. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood some things, but his heart was touched more. It's a good thing that we got the human emperor's seal. Let's keep this matter to ourselves. Even if the human clan's elders ask, they won't know, Lin Xianer said. Hearing Lin Xianer's words, everyone nodded. This matter was more serious. Sister Xian, let me know if there's anything. I'm going to cultivate. Night Sorrow nodded to them and entered the heaven-sealing hall. Seeing the human clan sages fall after countless years of hard work, it's inevitable that Night Sorrow will feel sad. Let's wait and see first, Lin Xianer said. In the Tianhuang city's conference hall, all the human clan's elders had arrived. The Grand Elder sent someone to call Lin Piaomiao, who originally didn't participate. Normally, she didn't have enough experience and wasn't qualified to attend. Everyone has seen what happened today. We humans have an unprecedented merit emperor. This is a big deal. What do you all think? The Grand Elder asked. Yes, you're right. Grand Elder, the birth of the virtuous emperor proves that the human clan's luck has arrived. We should bring him back now, Gucci said. I can't make the decision on this matter. It was the city lord's decision to let him come back after the Nirvana tide. Before the city lord gives a new order, we can only follow the previous order. The Grand Elder shook his head. Grand Elder, Knight Sorrow has a very bad impression of the human clan's elders. Today he waved his hand and said those words. Also, our fortune teller should stop divining. If he becomes the virtuous emperor, he will be aware of the divining and it will make him even more annoyed. Things will get out of hand. He's not giving us any face now, Emperor Tang said. Chapter 1734. Commander Lin, have you seen him before? What's the situation now? The Grand Elder looked at Lin Piaomiao. Yes, he's not in a good condition now, Lin Piaomiao said. Is he in danger? Lu Qi stood up. I don't know. Piaomiao is talking about the state of mind. Tell the elders. Unparalleled Sword Emperor fell in front of Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow saw his soul dissipate with his own eyes. For countless years, the peerless Sword Emperor burned his soul to fight against the Demon Wing clan's powerhouses even though his physical body had perished. Personally seeing the peerless Sword Emperor die in front of him was a huge blow to Yi Shan, said Lin Piaomiao. Unparalleled Sword Emperor's battle strength is shocking. We humans should admire that. But he disappeared with the human emperor's seal. He's a sinner of the human race. A human elder said. Law enforcement elderly, is this appropriate? Back then, Unparalleled Sword Emperor's body was destroyed. Would he covet the human emperor's seal? He fought for the human race. Before the human race confirmed the death of Unparalleled Sword Emperor and knew that he went to Infinite Wasteland to fight against the Demon-Winged clan, did they search for him? Did they send reinforcements? If we had searched earlier, Unparalleled Sword Emperor's soul wouldn't have been destroyed. Hearing this law enforcement elderly who had just brought a group of elites from the human race, Lin Piaomiao was dissatisfied. Do you have the right to talk about these things as a commander? Whether he's a sinner or not, is that something you can say? The blue-robed law enforcement elderly glared at Lin Piaomiao. So what if I'm a commander? The status of a human elder isn't used to oppress others. It doesn't matter if you look down on me. I also look down on people who use their status to oppress others. Lin Piaomiao sneered. All right, everyone stop arguing. Let's discuss this slowly. The Grand Elder shook his head at Lin Piaomiao. All right, let's not talk about Yan Wushuang first. Is the human emperor's seal in Knight Sorrow's hands? Where is he? Our human elders will go and retrieve the human emperor's seal. Law enforcement elderly said. Lin Piaomiao turned her head to one side. Since she didn't say anything, no one else answered. Lin Piaomiao, I'm asking you a question. Enforcer elderly stood up, his eyes filled with rage. His words were directed at Lin Piaomiao, but Lin Piaomiao ignored him. You banished them and didn't care if they lived or died. Then, if there are treasures, as long as they are treasures, you don't need to talk about how to deal with them. You're really good. Go ask Knight Sorrow, why are you asking me? Don't ask me and don't yell at me lest you embarrass yourself. Hearing Elder Li's words, Lin Piaomiao was so angry that she laughed. She didn't care who was shouting at her. How dare you? Do you have any respect for your seniors? Is there still any human clan elders association? Law enforcement elderly couldn't maintain his composure anymore. You're the superior one and I'm the inferior one? What are you? Are you trying to find a sense of existence on me, Lin Piaomiao? What do you want? If you want to fight, then come. Lin Piaomiao's right hand gripped the hilt of her long sword. Original version % first issue, Li Zongyun, what's wrong with you? Do you have to show off in front of Lin Piaomiao? Lin Piaomiao is brave just because she said a few words of truth? Qin Qianjie spoke. Li Zongyuan was law enforcement elderly. Does she have any respect for the human clan elders? Li Zongyuan looked at Qin Qianjie. Lower your attitude. Commander Lin was invited by the Grand Elder to participate in the Human Clan Elders Association. The birth of the human clan's virtuous great emperor is a big matter. We should pay attention to it. Talent is the foundation. Must we force her to dislike our human clan elders association? Lu Qi said. Knight Sorrow received the unparalleled sword sovereign's inheritance and is also a disciple of his master. If anyone says that the unparalleled sword sovereign is a sinner, I don't know what Knight Sorrow will think, but it definitely won't be a good thing. Lin Piaomiao said. We can't divine it. We don't know what's going on with him. Let nature take its course. The Grand Elder said. Then the Human Clan Elders Association dispersed. The Grand Elder called Lu Qi and Lin Piaomiao to the small world of his tower. Commander Lin, are you still angry? The Grand Elder looked at Lin Piaomiao and asked. No, I just feel that the world has changed. Lin Piaomiao said. Whether it's a merit or a crime, there's a public opinion. It's not decided by just one person. There's a sad atmosphere in the sound of nature. It's obvious that this matter has a great impact on Knight Sorrow. It's been hard on you to comfort him. The Grand Elder said. It's nothing. I'll try my best. Lin Piaomiao nodded. Time and time again Knight Sorrow is becoming more and more disappointed in our Tianhuang city. The human clan's virtuous great emperor is also disappointed in us. What's going on? Lu Qi sighed. In Tianhuang Mountain the clear sky pagoda was underground. Knight Sorrow's original body and doppelganger were both diligently cultivating. The original body integrated the light of virtue into the void spacetime domain, while the doppelganger used the domain for actual combat. Their cultivation did not interfere with each other's. Knight Sorrow's original body and doppelganger were not on the same floor in the clear sky pagoda. The doppelganger's actual combat practice would not affect the original body's cultivation. There were still 2 months before the battle with Demon Throat. Knight Sorrow could not estimate how much Demon Throat's strength had improved. He already knew that Demon Throat was a member of the Demon Wing clan's royal family. Accelerated cultivation was naturally not a problem, and he would not lack resources. Since he did not lack resources and time for cultivation, it was difficult to predict the current situation of Demon Throat, who had not displayed his full strength at that time. Next was the battle to the death. With the acceleration of the clear sky pagoda, Knight Sorrow still had a lot of time. Now that no one was divining his future, the human race elders in Tianhuang City knew that spying on the virtuous emperor was against the heavenly Tao. If they angered the virtuous emperor they would suffer a backlash and the consequences would be severe. Lin Xin stayed in the 9 regions world mainly because she could be the first to know about Knight Sorrow's situation. However, in reality, Knight Sorrow stayed in the heaven-sealing Great Hall and did not come out. He had been studying array formations all this time. Wufeng and Songning arrived at 9 regions city. The two were already engaged, and Dachura had also arranged a residence for them in 9 regions world. Knowing the situation in 9 regions world, they understood that Knight Sorrow was taking a risk and had absolute trust in him. The two threw out the heavenly Tao oath that they would never do anything that would harm 9 regions world. Knowing that Knight Sorrow had entered the virtuous emperor level, Songning and Wufeng were very happy. This allowed Wufeng to see the light of curing the cold poison in his body. Although the cold poison in Wufeng's body was not fatal, it had a great impact. With the cold poison in his body, even if he got married he would not have children. In addition, it would also affect his cultivation and future achievements. Although they were excited, they did not call for Knight Sorrow to come out of seclusion. This was because they knew that this was an unusual time for Knight Sorrow. While drinking tea, Lin Xin gave Songning some instructions. Chapter 1735. What's wrong? Do they dare to touch our ethereal dynasty? Songning said with a frown. Be on guard. They are all elders of the human race, so it's hard to say what they will do. Therefore it's best to be cautious. Star Moon Lake must be guarded carefully. Knight Sorrow's appearance will cause the ethereal dynasty to become an unstable region, and Star Moon Lake is the core of this region, Lin Xin said. Got it? Wufeng and I'll send our clones to Star Moon City. We'll kill whoever comes. If we can't kill them, come and get Sister Xian. Songning was in a good mood because Wufeng's problem was about to be solved. The power of virtue was vast and majestic, but there were no laws or attributes in it. Therefore the fusion with the domain was only a buff. It wasn't difficult. Knight Sorrow used half a month in the real world to complete it. When needed, Knight Sorrow could use the virtuous void spacetime domain. Normally, it would be the virtuous void spacetime domain, and he could switch it at any time. After his power of virtue had leveled up and stabilized, Night Sorrow connected the teleportation array and returned to the stronghold he stole from Demon Throat. He then dismantled the teleportation array. When he wanted to leave, he could use the teleportation array disk. If there was a problem with the teleportation array, it would be unwise to let the Demon Wing clan know about it. Releasing the Clear Sky Pagoda, Night Sorrow began to cultivate. Now his spacetime domain had reached 18%, his void domain had reached 12%, and his destruction domain had reached 40%. There was a lot of room for improvement, so he had to improve it if he had the chance. In a month in the real world, Night Sorrow could cultivate for more than 4 years. As for safety, Night Sorrow wasn't worried. There was an illusion array here, and he still had the teleportation array disk in his hand. If Demon Throat used a sneak attack, he could directly teleport away. As for breaking the array, although a high-level Emperor could break it, it would take time. By then, Night Sorrow would have escaped. As the time of the battle approached, Night Sorrow felt a little regretful because there wasn't enough time for him to break through to the 2-star Emperor realm. He had never thought that his cultivation speed was already the best in the world. Every monarch cultivated for months and years and relied on the accumulation of time. If others knew about his cultivation speed, their jaws would definitely drop to the ground in shock. In addition, after entering the virtuous Emperor realm, Night Sorrow's body had a special situation. In the past, the lightning tribulation had left 3 traces of destructive energy in Night Sorrow's body. There was also a trace of energy that was filled with vitality. It was very weak and didn't react at all. However, as the body of merit entered the Emperor realm, Night Sorrow's flesh, blood, bones, and veins were all filled with the light of merit. Therefore this energy was nourished and strengthened. Night Sorrow couldn't analyze what element it was. It was different from the element he knew. More than a month had passed in the blink of an eye. Night Sorrow stopped the illusory killing array he had arranged and strengthened it. He and Lin Xianer had been cultivating array formations in the subbody of the Clear Sky Pagoda. Although the time spent wasn't very long, the results were great. Lin Xianer explained from the foundation and from the principles of array formation. Night Sorrow's array formation standards had already surpassed the level of alchemy and weapon refinement. He was already a mid-level Emperor Master, which was also a Monarch-level Emperor Master. Emperor Masters were also divided into ranks. According to the difference in levels, there were 3 ranks: low-level, mid-level, and high-level. The corresponding titles were Monarch-level Emperor Master, Monarch-level Emperor Master, and Emperor-level Emperor Master. Night Sorrow's alchemy and weapon refinement were at the low-level Emperor Master level, which was also Monarch-level Emperor Master level. However, his array formation cultivation was already Monarch-level Emperor Master. Night Sorrow's soul power was strong, far surpassing cultivators of the same level. His deduction ability was strong. In addition, Lin Xianer didn't hold back in her explanation. Night Sorrow's array formation cultivation naturally rose. Lin Xianer already had feelings in her heart. How could she not teach him seriously? Night Sorrow stopped the illusory killing array to give Mo Ho a chance to approach. Of course, if he detected other Demon Wing clan members coming, Night Sorrow would activate the array formation and then slip away. On this day, Night Sorrow's main body stopped cultivating and also kept the Clear Sky Pagoda. Because he was practicing his battle strength, his clone that was cultivating soul extinguishing / detected Mo Ho's appearance. He wasn't alone. There were 2 Demon Wing clan elders that Night Sorrow couldn't detect. The 3 of them stopped when they were 30,000 miles away from Night Sorrow. This was the limit of an emperor's detection. Normally, an emperor wouldn't be able to detect them. Night Sorrow could detect them because he had been paying attention to the cultivation of his soul power all these years. It was also because of his good foundation that his spirit sea expanded a lot when he cultivated the Myriad Dao Treasured Tome. Night Sorrow's body was at the 9th level. It had already exceeded the range of the Myriad Dao Treasured Tome. However, he had also figured out the direction of cultivation. That was to transform his body into energy. His flesh and blood were energy, so were his body and bones. This way, some attacks couldn't touch his body and couldn't destroy the energy in his body. Although there was still a path to walk, Night Sorrow already had a clear direction. In fact, his body already had some abilities. For example, when he punched out, it had the attack characteristics of the virtuous void domain. It had the power of heaven and earth and Dao presence. This was a realm that no one had reached. Even the author of the Myriad Dao Treasured Tome didn't reach Night Sorrow's level. The Myriad Dao Treasured Tome was blank when it reached the Heaven Monarch realm, let alone the 9th level. Night Sorrow didn't have the time or energy. He should reorganize and rewrite the Myriad Dao treasured tome until it reached the Arch realm. That would be a complete inheritance and sect. Cultivating the Myriad Dao treasured tome was more difficult. However, as the 9 regions' world's level increased, elixirs and resources were sufficient. The Myriad Dao treasured tome was no longer an untouchable realm. Of course, without great perseverance, one couldn't cultivate it. The process was too painful. When Night Sorrow thought about it, his heart turned cold. After detecting that Demon Throat had brought people here, Night Sorrow smiled. This time, there was no need for a gentleman's battle. It was a battle of life and death between the races. After the 2 elders detected Night Sorrow, they communicated with Demon Throat. Night Sorrow knew that it must be a scheme against him. Night Sorrow kept the Clear Sky Pagoda and began to prepare for battle. Under normal circumstances, Night Sorrow should leave. This was because Demon Throat had brought people here. To him, it was already a threat. It was no longer rational to accept the battle. However, Night Sorrow had his own thoughts and plans. Demon Throat was a member of the royal family of the Demon Wing race. He was a rising star with great potential. If he could kill him, it would be a great harvest. The battle between the younger generation of the human race and the Demon Wing race was also a battle of luck. As for the danger, Night Sorrow also had his own considerations. The 2 elders of the Demon Wing race were 30,000 miles away from him. Although they were fast, they still needed some time to arrive. This time was enough for Night Sorrow to activate the array and retreat. Demon Throat had arrived. Because the array had been shut down, Demon Throat had successfully arrived within 300 meters of Night Sorrow. I thought you had already left. It seems like you are really not afraid of death. You dare to wait here for 3 years. Demon Throat sized up Night Sorrow. You're tuning in to the Han Lee's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.